Hey, welcome back, my brother. How you doing? Hey, it's Mr. Young as always.
And this foreign in the building, bro. We've been taking too many breaks, man. I'm so sorry to our fans. I hope you guys are patient with us.
It's okay, bro. Hey, wrestling is something that we love. We hold true to our hearts, but we also need to love ourselves.
Yeah,
Take a bit of a break, you know?
Mental health break is so important, Mr. Young. I mean, we all know. And of course, for me, I think my August was quite disruptive because I was on reservice. And then, I came back for 2 weeks. We had a solid 2-week run there. Things was happening. And then, of course, September, I got to take my yearly holiday,
I love it, though. It does seem like every time we miss a show, we are away, we take a break. Wow, suddenly the news picks up. Like, what is going on? Okay, we have so many things to talk about. But first of all, I want to say hello to all our OGs, our people in chat. Thank you so much for being here and spending your Tuesday afternoon. John Mouse, Irvin, Sir Who's, Jason, it's good to see you all. And yes, as always, if you haven't joined our Discord yet, that's where the rest of the conversation goes on. You can check out the link in the description. We have a lovely Discord community, always there to talk about pro wrestling.
Yeah, man. Hey, Irvin, shout out from BKK. Let us know where you guys at. Are you at the Pratunam? Are you enjoying?
Are you at a soy? One of the soy, the soy cowboy? I hear it's very popular.
Oh, I mean, that's all. That's the extent I know of Thailand, lah. Because I'm good boy, so I don't know anything else after night time. I don't know what's going on.
You don't know the reference, soy cowboy. Okay, it's okay. I don't, I don't corrupt you, lah.
Mr. Young, you are more worldly cultured man than me. You've seen more of the world than me. What are you talking about?
No, this is from what I've heard from my friends that the things can get quite wild there. Anyway, funnily enough, I've been to Soy Cowboy with my wife, so we go there to so in the culture, it is very much a big part of the culture there. You know what I mean?
Okay. The only culture I know is the Songkran, which seems to be a pretty big deal every year.
The water festival, right?
Yeah. I heard you can just randomly soak people wherever you want. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about that. Please get consent before soaking people.
Yes, that's what they tell me as well. Oh dear God. Okay. But I'm happy to see everyone's back. And you're right, Mr. Young. Every single time we take a break. Remember when right before I went off for Australia, I was saying, Mr. I think now we are in between shows. No, I think just grandstand whatever can take a break lah. Then what the hell? One time The Rock appear. What the hell?
I know, right? I know. Okay. So let's sort of backtrack a little bit and think about the things that have happened. Very quickly, though, I want to give a shout out to some certain things that are wrestling related, but not really sort of the mainstream stuff. Have you watched the Netflix show Wrestlers?
I've seen some snippets of it. I know El Snow is, but I know they cover OVW. But tell me, what have you seen about wrestlers so far?
Do you remember a few months ago we were talking about how if AEW got an extra hour, they should do. Actually, they did. They did their documentary, but their documentary is shit, right? Remember we were talking about how maybe sometimes Raw can, instead of having an extra hour of Raw, they do some sort of behind-the-scenes type reality show, but they still kayfabe it in a way. I'm I was watching this wrestler show going, hey, actually this has a lot of potential, you know? Almost like a Toto Divas style of show where, yes, they explore these characters and their personal lives, especially the characters or the men and women who have very, juicy personal lives, right? Very dramatic stuff, but also somehow incorporate it into live TV. I know it's very hard because all this you have to film beforehand and then you have to edit, right? And basically what I'm saying is I enjoyed it because I enjoyed El Snow's perspective on the business, what he thinks, should be done, shouldn't be done. He's running OVW, which is obviously, it's not what OVW was. Everyone remembers OVW from the John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, that era of VW, right? And now it's super different. Make John Mouse says, why do I keep forgetting to watch wrestler? The thing is with the rest, I still feel like unless you are a diehard, you're a big wrestling fan like us, you probably won't want to watch. It doesn't cross that mainstream barrier. Does that make sense? I feel like you have to be a fan.
That's true to a certain extent, but I also think the fact that it's on Netflix and it's so accessible might open it up to new fans, because I know
Sure.
people who are generally on Netflix, right? They don't plan what they watch. You know, they see, oh, what's happening or what just got released on Netflix. Maybe I'll just check it out. So I'm quite curious, since you've kind of watched like some episodes, like
Watch
what
finish already,
is
bro.
oh
Watch
bro,
finish.
okay. So it's
I
like
binge.
okay, how many episodes, and like what is it like reality TV full on, or what's going on?
Yes, so it's reality TV full on. I mean, it's okay. It's a documentary full on, not reality TV.
Okay.
Right? So essentially, I can't remember how many episodes. It's not that many. It's like 6 or 7. So it's not like a huge 12 episode type deal, right? But I binged it in an entire weekend. I was doing work. I had it in the background. El Snow is super lovable, super knowledgeable, and seems like in this documentary setting, you can really see like the emotions come through, and I really love that. There's the owner of the OVW, the co-owner, who's a radio DJ. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, which is very interesting, and the friction between him and the wrestlers don't respect him because he's not a wrestler, he's just the guy paying the bills, right? So they don't want to listen to him, they quote unquote disrespect him. And then, when they do these documentaries, even in documentaries, we might think of documentaries as, it's the truth. It's just, but no, there's storytelling involved. The way they edit it, there's cliffhangers. There are a couple of quote unquote wrestlers, like, I haven't seen them before, but there's this one girl who, I forgot her name, Hollywood something. So she's like one of the main characters, her and her mother, actually, and she went to Women of Wrestling.
Women's of Wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, and then like El Snow was a bit annoyed because like it was in between her like big storyline in OVW. So there's a lot of storyline within this documentary, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's like what we like best about wrestling, where it's like the behind the scenes drama, a bit of like politicking and lower leagues, but still the same issues lah, perhaps, right?
Yes. And the crazy thing is, right, this is the best use of the cinematic style of wrestling, because in between they do like show their big event, right? And then they obviously do cuts. They don't show you the full show, but there are like certain scenes where it's like, I guess, it looks good because they cut the angle and everything. So it becomes that cinematic style of wrestling.
Okay. I would argue that the reason why this works on Netflix, I think maybe because it's not produced by AEW or WWE. Like I feel like when they bring outside people into it and let them interpret the wrestling, the art form, how they want to do it, us diehards will understand all like the lingo, all those like inside baseball. But like this cinematic style, this will appeal to the people who are mainstream. Maybe they're cinema fans or documentary fans, right?
The thing is though, with Netflix, they have a lot of content, right? And a lot of times I realize that shows will be very good, but nobody have ever heard of them because Netflix maybe doesn't see them as a priority to push. So, literally, I did not know that this wrestler was a thing until Div Royalty on Discord talked about it. I was like, oh, really? OVW? Oh, okay. So that's
the Discord. Good job.
Right?
Good job, Div.
But that's how I found out about this show. If not, there would be no way. It's just one thumbnail. When you scroll. If, you just skip wrestler. Like, okay, what is that? I don't care. Move on, right? So it's tough. I don't know why they're not giving it, because maybe they see wrestling no up bro.
But then again, if they didn't see wrestling as a potentially viable thing, why did they even greenlight it for Netflix? I feel like Netflix sees the potential of it. Maybe that's but they are like, how to say it's more of like a conservative investment. I'm not gonna go all in pushing this. But remember what was one of their biggest shows that they had a few years ago, wrestling related?
What?
Glow, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Glow was a hit on Netflix for at least 2-3 seasons before they just randomly got cancelled. But
yeah, it kind of fell off after a while.
Yeah. So, but the point remains, I feel like the medium of wrestling, I think, is so unexplored in Hollywood. Bro, biographies of Vince McMahon. Imagine if they do like a life story of Hulk Hogan. I know that was in the works with Chris Hemsworth as well. They just need that one big hit, bro. And then like, okay, the wrestling... will be the darling of the media critics lah.
As much as I would love for this El Snow documentary to be a big hit, I don't see it as a big hit. I think it's a really good show. I think you should go and watch it. We should all go and watch it, right? Because we love wrestling. But I tried to get my wife to watch it. She's like,
no wrestling today.
No. So see if you can get your girlfriend to watch it. That's the litmus test.
Okay. You know what? Since you're talking about my girlfriend just literally walked in the room, so I'm gonna tell you guys a story.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Since you're talking about on this note, right? Since you're talking about Australia, right? Do you remember what happened when I was in Australia? Okay, here's the thing that pissed me off, right?
Yeah.
I was in Perth the first 3 days. I actually went to Optus Stadium, right? So I had like a nice breakfast there, and then I was checking out this new bridge that they just built in 2019, very recent. It's called the Mata.
Proper tourist shit, bro. Proper tourist things.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? This bridge was built in 2019, and like it was my girlfriend's birthday, and she said like, for my birthday, I think I just want to jump off this bridge, do a zip line. I mean,
Oh, okay, right. I was like, what?
no, because apparently they opened up a zip line place. I was like, okay, so I look up the bridge. I was like, holy crap, it's 16 floors high, bro.
Oh, did you do it?
I did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the number one thing is, right, so the bridge is like literally, it's like, if you are, okay, you know Kallang Wave Mall, right? There's a small bridge that cross over to the other side of Kallang. Yeah, imagine that, but times 100, and it looks like the Golden Gate Bridge. That's how tall it is. So it's like going to be like a new landmark, like a more recognizable landmark for Perth going forward.
Sure.
The thing is, right, when I was on top of it, right, I could see the stadium. Like, it's literally on the other side of the bank. So I was going to zip line from the halfway to the top of the bridge all the way down to the banks in front of the stadium.
Yeah.
For some reason, right, when I was on top, I was like, what? Does that look like a nice, like, WrestleMania size stadium? That was I swear, when I was that high, that was the thought that was going in my head without any context, I was like,
right.
Oh, no, damn nice stadiums are like, can go have WrestleMania here. And then I flew to Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I flew to Melbourne on the second half of my trip. And when I landed, right, first thing I switched on my Wi-Fi. WWE is going to have Elimination Chamber in Perth at the Optus Stadium.
Ah, that's hilarious. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they were going to do it there and then, right? But I know, I get what you're feeling. Like that moment where you just left the place and now they announce this. So the question is, because you've been to Australia, you went to watch the Super Show a couple of years ago, remember?
I did that. Actually, long story short, for those of our newer listeners that just joined, that show was actually the thing that inspired me and Young to literally talk about or do this podcast. Like, literally, that was the first episode. Our first episode of this podcast, like over 5 years ago, 200 episodes ago, was about my experience at Super Showdown.
Actually, you know what would be quite fun? You go back to watch and listen. Actually, not watch. There's no video, bro. Go back and listen to our very first episode and see how much we have evolved, how much our gimmicks have changed.
Oh my god! So what? Us podcast boys reacting to the first episode of Kick. That would be quite funny, bro.
Why not, right? It'll be I wish we had video cameras to film our first episode, but we didn't. So it is what it is. Stoverkin, it's good to see you. How are you doing, buddy? So okay, so I suppose we're gonna like segue very nicely into this whole Elimination Chamber in Perth. It's during Chinese New Year, somehow, no? And
wow, bro. Okay.
That week, right? I'm gonna be in Bali. I cannot be there. But I do know that some of our friends are going or trying to buy because I think it's on pre-sale. So Fias, who listens to the podcast as well, right?
Yes, for sure.
Streamer, just a wonderful guy. He apparently, I heard from him yesterday, he is in the queue for the pre-order, pre-booking.
Okay, so if any one of you in the chat right now is aware of like what's going on, when does this pre-order like end? When does it officially go live? And I know some of you have like kind of like gave like prices that might be the case, might not be confirmed. I think I just want to know whether our TKO group brothers just because they all are cham one big company they're like, you know what? Time to charge my tickets to 1,000 AUD. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very worried, bro.
You're scared that they are going to jack their prices up because, they've combined, right?
Premium event, like literally it is right now. So.
I guess it kind of segues very nicely into our next thing. Okay, before we get there though, I have one more thing I want to bring up. Talking about wrestlers from the Attitude Era that never really truly got their flowers. We just talked about Al Snow in that wrestlers thing, right? Yeah. You know who else? And I know you've watched his videos and people have shared it on our Discord as well. Stevie Richards, bro. The BWO. Let's go. Breaking down all these moves, sometimes botches, has been quite the breath of fresh air, hasn't it?
Yeah, okay. So I'm actually quite happy that you brought up this thing, right, about Stevie Richards. So so my two favorite recent wrestling YouTubers that just came out of nowhere and has been putting kick-ass content, right, is, you're right, number one, Stevie Richards randomly breaking down all these moves. I saw the one that he did about like why Bret Hart throws the perfect superplex or something like that. And then
Yep.
he even talked about the botch. Remember?
Yeah.
Did you know that AEW actually pulled that video down?
Yes, I actually mentioned it on our Discord because I tried to go and watch it and it was gone. So okay, tell us who is the other one that you wanted to bring up first. Then we'll come back to this.
Well, I don't know whether you want to make a guess, but he's not really an Attitude Era from the era, but he's more from the recent, I would say, Ruthless Aggression era.
You talking about Ryback?
No, bro, nobody watches his YouTube channel. No, you will enjoy it, bro.
Who?
You wanna guess? Take a guess.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Okay. I'll give you a good guess. He eliminated Undertaker at the Royal Rumble.
Maven? Wait.
Yes.
He has content. I thought he was just doing interviews with like Chris Van Vliet.
Okay, that was a recent video that he did. But bro, he just had a resurgence like literally this year.
Yeah.
He put out like I think only 4 or 5 videos, but every video has millions of views, bro.
Oh my god.
You know why? Can I share? I can't share screen. Only you can share screen. Can you share screen, bro? Because I think you need to see the kind of videos that he puts out, because his video was literally how much does a WWE superstar make, and he literally tells the truth.
Wow.
Like, how much he got paid during his era, and then he had like another video on did I use steroid? My experience with steroid. Like, so you gotta watch, and it's so well produced,
right?
And because he has a teaching background, so he comes across damn charismatic and a great YouTuber, and his YouTube content, his production quality up there, you know. So it's like,
is it
out of nowhere? You just do a random YouTube, you will see like his video Maven.
I can't. I just searched for Maven. I can't find. I don't know why it's all some like.
Just put like Maven Huffman, Huffman.
Maven. Okay. No wonder I spelled wrongly. I spelled Marvin. I'm like, what?
Bro.
Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can pull up some of his content. We'll just take a look at the screen. Oh, there's an ad running on YouTube as usual. Hang on.
Yeah, you can share
screen. He's forever going to be the first ever Tough Enough winner, right?
Yeah, he can take nothing away from that. But I think one thing I realized about him is like seeing the perspective of a undercut guy is pretty dope. And especially when he's humble and he talks and he gives his flowers about how people help him throughout his journey. He had a lot of very, very interesting stories to share. One of it was he talked about how when he first got on the main roster, he didn't have a pair of boots. Triple H on the day instead of backstage opened up his luggage case.
What the hell?
Gave him a fresh pair of boots.
What the hell?
And apparently one of his first riding buddies was Devon Dudley and Batista when he was still Deacon Batista, collecting the church money, remember?
Church money, yes.
So
okay, I can't pull it up. It's gonna be too much trouble. But it's okay, like you guys know, sure. You all know how to find Maven on YouTube.
Yeah, you all can see his stuff. But the point is, I think what I wanted to make was like talk about people getting their flowers, right? Stevie Richards, Maven Huffman. Who would have thought they would be like such great YouTube content creators? But yeah, do check it out. Please.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right, this wrestling ecosystem, we have such an appetite for the nostalgia, like Maven's era, the Attitude era, you know. I'm not surprised, especially those who are good at doing content. And at the end of the day, it's valuable content, right? Like Stevie Richards is teaching people, is pointing out, you know, like the good and the bad of current stuff. So, not Max Moon, okay? What?
Bro, Max Moon is like a new generation, bro. I don't think anybody remembers.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, tell me your point you wanted to make about Stevie Richards. I mean, do you see what was the video that you actually really enjoyed the most from his breakdown?
Okay, so the last one I watched was the Pendulum Backbreaker with Bret Hart. And it really, like, he breaks it down exactly how he does it and why he does it so well. And it really, like, gave me, it reminded me of why I was such a fan of some of these people, like, especially of Bret Hart, like, how he was so technical in the ring, you know? And at the end of the day, no wonder he had such a high, I mean, some people think that he's very full of himself sometimes, like, you know, but there's a reason. Like, he was just that damn good. It's just maybe he wasn't the best on the mic. Right? But from a technical perspective, like, he was just amazing. No, the reason I actually really even found out about his breakdowns was because of the whole, and let's transition to this, AEW, Jon Moxley, Rey Fenix, and what was it, Mike Knox or Rick Knox, or the useless referee, the fella?
Yeah, Rick Knox.
Rick Knox, that whole incident where I saw the clip. Obviously, I've stopped watching Dynamite and the Collision, and I've stopped watching Rampage for a long time already, so I don't need that garbage in my life, right? But when I saw this clip, I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So I had to watch the match, right? And he put out a breakdown, Stevie Richards that is, and then it got taken down. Okay, apparently the reason, some people have postulated that the reason that it got taken down was because of, at the end, he kind of swung Tony Khan, saying that, hey, what are you doing? You are at the end of the show dancing instead of checking on your guy, right? So that was the whole thing. He brought up the example of how people hate on Vince McMahon, but when Undertaker got injured, Vince McMahon rode with him to the hospital. So he brought that up as a frame of reference. It's like, what are you doing? One of your main guys is possibly concussed, and you're still there at the end of the show doing dance. Not a good look, bro. What are you doing? What are your thoughts on this whole Moxley? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. I just have very brief thoughts, right? Because clearly I chose the right week to take a holiday because it was a Grand Slam, right?
Yeah.
I only wanted to watch two matches, right? I just wanted to watch Samoa Joe versus MJF because I think that's a decent rivalry, and also I wanted to see what's gonna go on with what do you call it, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. But that's more for personal, because you have your fans, you like Chris Jericho, but we have his issues with Chris Jericho, but it's a story that I can get behind. My thing was, first of all, I didn't even know that Rey Fenix was going to challenge Jon Moxley for the title.
Yeah.
Maybe because maybe I was just so annoyed that CM Punk has left. I am one of those fans that switch off from Collision because CM Punk is gone. I love everyone that's there, but I think without CM Punk as the spearhead, there's no one else that can be the selling point. Everyone else is still growing. Ricky Starks, maybe in years down the road, he can be MJF level. I will watch something for him. Bullet Club Gold has the potential, but no one is I gotta tune in for him. Even Bryan Danielson, bro.
You know why, right? Because
Why?
the booking has been dog shit. There's no reason to tune in. You could have the biggest names there, but if they are not involved in proper storylines, there's no reason for them to be there. There's no motivation for A to fight B, that kind of thing, right? Then it's down to storyline. And we've said this 1,000,001 times. Nothing against most of the wrestlers there. They're hardworking. They do what they need to do, right? Some of them quite green. And as we'll talk about in just a few moments, some of the referees need to go back to refereeing school. Where's referee Ryan? He probably do a better job, for crying out loud, than this Rick Knox.
Sure.
Useless fella.
Referee is the pinnacle of wrestling standards here in Singapore. Of
That's
course,
right.
Sodik as well.
Sodik as well, yes. It's like, it's an indie mindset with $1 billion budget. That's what AEW is, and that's why they're suffering right now.
I think one other thing a lot of people fail to realize, and this is just my observation as well from AEW's booking, right? Is maybe it's Tony Khan's idea all along that he wants to just have a lot of dream matches and pull some random history. For example, I love Claudio and Eddie Kingston, right? And I thought that match was decent instead of a Grand Slam, but I can't recall one or two super memorable segments that they call out. I've never even seen Claudio show a bit of aggression as a heel. Nothing. Yep. We are supposed to have done our research on their history. You know what I mean? But but the whole point of creating television is to create that awareness and connection with the stories, get people invested. Then you want to watch the matches. So as much as Eddie and Claudio has so-called 10, 20 years of history, I just don't care.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly it, because it hasn't been presented to you. Look, call us lazy, whatever, right? But we are all people with actual lives out there who need to go and do stuff, go out, go to work. We don't have the time to go and research every single backstory and fill ourselves in before the show, right? And that, give it to WWE. Even on a short notice, they can come up with some sort of a video package to try to hype it up. Sometimes it doesn't work because there's too short of a notice, but at least they try, right? AEW is like, okay, these two are just going to fight. Excalibur, you just tell their whole story in 5 minutes. What? It's not going to work. It hasn't worked. And their ratings bear it out. You know what's crazy? NXT is almost and above their level already. Granted, you know what they've been doing at NXT, right? They've been bringing in Becky Lynch. They had Dominic Mysterio. You know, these main stars have been rotating in and out. So NXT is a much easier and better watch. And I've found myself watching NXT because, Becky Lynch is on. Let's see what she does. What? She won the Women's Championship? Oh my goodness, right? It's generating buzz. They are no longer like that, you know what Vince wanted to make them, and they are actually now the proper like HBK and Triple H vision of how they can run the thing, and it's beautiful to behold. So what is my reason to watch Dynamite? Like, yes, there's MJF, Samoa Joe. I'm sorry, it's not enough. The story that they're in is not good enough.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. And I feel like that's the exact point I'm trying to make, right? WWE has actual stars who might move the needle. Like, people want to tune in to see what Becky Lynch does, right? Dominic Mysterio in his current form, everyone wants to see what he does, right? Or at least boo him, you know? They enjoy seeing him on his TV. But like, for that brief period, MJF and Adam Cole, that was interesting. But now I think they are kind of like going separate and doing their own thing. Adam Cole, I feel, is being put to the side to have this, Roderick Strong rivalry, right? But again, No, but again, if you want to go back to Phoenix and Jon Moxley, right? Let's talk about the move itself. Let's talk about the move, especially for a guy like you who grew up and saw, Stone Cold getting pile driven by Owen Hart. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, holy shit, they just jacked up his neck.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember somebody else has that as a finisher back in the day? Attitude Era. Rikishi, yes. Draping sit out pile driver, which after a while he didn't use after he became babyface and Stingface. That was his finisher already. But okay, so he used to use that as his finisher. And it was never an issue. Why? A, because he's a tall fella. Most of the time, the head doesn't even come anywhere close to the mat, right?
Yeah, it was just like the shock of the body dropping only, right?
But visually, it looked like he was getting pile driven. So that was the beauty of it, right? And then you had his luscious, juicy thighs to cushion the entire blow. So the opponent, the person getting pile driven, most likely never even came close to the mat. So it was a safe move, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you have Rey Fenix, who's a small guy. And you have...
And Jon Moxley is taller than him.
A lot taller. So, okay, so... That's one thing already. The move is already very dangerous. But okay, they are indie mindset. They'll do whatever, like, oh yeah, we're a tough guy. Yeah, I'm Jon Moxley, whatever shit, right? And then, like, if you read the dirt sheets, they say that he had already been saying concussed, whatever, before the first pile driver. So like it was on a dive or something like that, right? So that's why he was like, just call for the pin. And here we go. Look, if you want to say that maybe John was out of it, that's why he went along, so it's not his fault, I can accept that, right?
Okay.
Ray should have known better, and 100% the ref should have known better. My God. The first, like when he does the guy, isn't this always the case? Like, I don't know, because maybe they are so avant-garde, bro. They are so, they ignore the common wisdom that,
not
you know
avant-garde,
what,
bro.
You know what? If he doesn't kick out, I'm going to hold the count. Pretend like, what the hell was that? And the camera, of course, AEW, they always get the best camera angle to show people blading, to show every sort of bullshit, to expose the business. Like, I don't want to come across as that guy who's like, oh, keep it. But I mean, come on. Anybody can see that dude was not going to kick out. The crowd started booing because they realized it was a cock-up.
The thing is, right, it was so obvious that he didn't even slam the ground. He just held his hand there.
Yeah, like... yeah.
If you were in character and if you were like a special guest referee, you do that, then you're a heel move. That's a heel move.
Correct.
To stop the count, right?
Yeah.
But you're a referee and there's no way they can explain their way out of this.
Yeah, other than, he was not supposed to win. That's the only explanation. And it was like, oh my God. So it's always on the guy getting pinned to kick out. And if he's injured, then freaking end the match. That is just like, I don't even need to be a referee to understand this, right? And then... as if that wasn't bad enough, they all blur. Mox is like, pin me. Ray picks him up and does the same freaking move to him again after.
That was the part I was like mentally switched off. I'm like, you're going to do the exact same thing. And then you know what? He landed on his head again.
Bro, did you see the compression of the... I saw it, I was like, oh my God, you freaking idiot. Like, drop an elbow, do a splash. Like, something that won't compromise. Like, this, guys... this professional wrestling, we love it for the action, the moves, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, the performers are there to take care of each other. Make something look devastating, but actually doesn't hurt at all. If any, and this ties back into the whole Stevie Richards thing. I never got to watch this episode of him talking about this botch. But the way he explains it too, it's like sometimes you have to take the damage to, even though you are the one delivering the move, to protect your opponent. In this case, Ray Phoenix, I mean, I'm sorry, he's a great performer, but what are you even freaking doing? The guy is hurt. Protect the guy you're working with. Don't indie mindset on $1 billion budget. This is what this shit is.
Bro, I have a very serious question. Is that Ray Phoenix finisher? I've never known what his finisher is,
No, because they have 10,000 moves. Wow,
Then-
that's their style lah.
No, that's the thing, right? So I always wonder why they insisted on doing the exact move again. Was it his finisher? Because if it was his finisher, she sure as hell wasn't memorable. And
Nope.
does that mean all this while he's gotten away with doing this finisher and no one gotten hurt? Is this the first time he's gotten hurt? Then okay lah, poor thing lah. But I feel that that's a reflection of you shouldn't be doing this finisher in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Protect your guy.
Because you have nobody in that organization, or maybe there are veterans, but guess what? Nobody wants to listen to the veterans in that organization. Instead of doing shit like that, just like, oh come on, oh my god, like I cannot. It's, when I saw that, I was like, yep, that's the reason I don't watch this, this clown show.
Well, so yeah, Ray Phoenix, I guess, won the international
Wow.
championship, and I know we have our you have your thoughts about Orange Cassidy and all that, but he held the title for almost a year. How do you feel how the title has been treated ever since it got dropped from him?
First of all, it meant nothing because, even though, yes, Orange Cassidy held it for a year, but it was like garbage, like shitty matches against nobodies, and none of it was high profile. Name me one Orange Cassidy International Championship match that you remember that really stands out to you.
Wow.
Go ahead. Name me one or two.
And Mr. Young, I'm the wrestling historian here, but I can't even think of one that. Okay, I can think of the names who he wrestled with, but none of them was memorable. Right?
That's the thing, right? Like, and maybe that's your style. You enjoy that sort of content. It just feels like nothing is important. Nothing is reverent. It's just everything throw. It is reflected in the way they wrestle. The quote unquote indie-rific guys. Just spam a bunch of moves and okay, we're done. And it reflects in the way they book. Oh, just do a bunch of shit and we're done. Oh, dream match and we're done. Expecting us to, understand the history and all that. It's like they don't know how to tell stories. It's as simple as that.
This is so weird, but with CM Punk gone, the only storyline that I feel has had progression and makes sense, very weird for me to say, is actually Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Yeah. Okay, so that whole throwback, right, where the hug happens and then he gonna kick. I get it,
Yeah, I mean, I know you can enjoy it as a fan, but also not just that. The fact that, remember, I think Chris Jericho have said in an interview before, like when he does his so-called books, his storylines or his feuds, he actually have a beginning and middle, and it will end in a certain pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I feel like with all the chaos that's happening in AEW right now, his storyline is still the thing that makes logical sense, which is so weird.
It is, but it's not the greatest stuff.
Exactly.
That's why we're like not really paying attention to it. But I get your point as well. So it's wow. So anyway, that was the whole thing with Stevie Richards. And actually, did he repurpose the video and put it up somewhere else?
I've seen the stuff, the video not in full though, but it's on TikTok. I think some people might have screen recorded and here and there.
And cut
but
it
you know
up for
what?
bits. Yeah, but I would love to see that breakdown and get Stevie Richards' point of view on how this was a complete cluster F. But yeah, no, just to put a ball on it, Rick Knox should have known better, done better as a referee. Your job is to look after the guys in there, and just stopping the count is just the dumbest, most bonehead give away the business move. That's some indie bullshit is what that is.
If I was the promoter, I would have fired him on the spot, man.
Yeah.
Fired him on the spot.
Exactly. Like, look, if he doesn't kick out, it's on him. And if he was concussed, then yes, end the match. Not let him take another. They need to thank all their lucky stars and to whatever deities that they pray to that Jon Moxley has gotten away with this without an injury. Like a proper, the guy is already half broken,
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's like, what are you guys doing? Take care of each other, man.
Do you hear the story that he said in an interview? He's like has the body of a 70-year-old with arthritis or something like that.
Yeah. His body is all effed up. And the crazy thing is, like, WWE might have been the best place to protect him against himself. You know?
Yeah. And the best part is he's the same age as Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And look at where Roman Reigns is and how he's taken care of himself compared
Bro,
to...
Roman, and the amount of money that Roman Reigns is making. You know, it's like, wow, it's different levels, bro. Different levels of this game.
There's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Dean Ambrose could have been that crazy guy that, is a thorn in Roman Reigns' side over in the WWE. You know, he doesn't really have a chance, but he has that Mick Foley vibe. And he does the crazy shit once a year, maybe twice a year, and it becomes memorable. As opposed to him doing it every single week and it becomes a meme.
On hindsight, I mean, he wouldn't have known Vince McMahon was going to get kicked off. He wouldn't have known, Triple H is going to be in charge. But I feel like, yes, he was justified to leave at that point in time. And I'll be really honest, year one of AEW, when he was the main guy, he felt fresh, he felt interesting. I wanted to see what he did next. But at some point or another, things just went way sideways.
But like we've said, barely anybody in AEW feels fresh and interesting and exciting, other than CM Punk. Who? Right? Other than MJF maybe, but that one's tough, man. If I were MJF, I'd really be like, seriously, Cody, bro, making that call.
Serious question though, like, how do you feel about MJF as this pseudo babyface, still a bad guy, but will love the crowd?
I guess it's what they need right now, right? Like, who else is going to be there for them as their flag bearer, their main babyface? They have nobody. They literally have nobody, and they've worked themselves into that situation where they're literally zero bankable stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a football reference since I'm a Liverpool fan again, right?
Okay.
Who's the current Liverpool coach? Jurgen Klopp is that German guy, very charismatic guy.
Yep.
So for the last few years, Liverpool has been doing really, really well. They had great players, but at a certain point, everyone became too old to perform. Right? So I know this sounds crazy because we both know our ages, but for a football player, when you turn 30, you're considered old.
No, athletic prime has passed,
Yeah, you can't perform at that high level, right? So like this past season, they kind of cleared off all their big stars, including like their captain, their English captain, and people were like, oh shit, like these are the people that we grew up with, that we love. They are what defined Liverpool for us. But then they had a renewal and they had younger stars and new people that come in, but immediately they perform and there was this freshness to the squad. And like suddenly I feel like, oh, okay, things are building up again and it's exciting, right? And I feel exactly that's what AEW needs. I feel AEW's batch of stars have, gone the course, right? Have reached maybe the climax or the biggest potential of what they could achieve. And like, what else can Jon Moxley offer right now? Unless he goes through a radical image, like reinvention, right?
Yeah, goes away, learns a new move, changes his outlook, comes back.
Yeah, so I feel like I think that's the issue, right? At the top end of the card in AEW, or maybe across the board, everyone feels stale right now because they've reached the conclusion of the storyline that they want to tell, or they have stayed in that same spot, same gimmick, same vibe for so long that like we know what to expect. Like even something as fresh as The Acclaim a year ago, it felt so interesting to know what they want to say. But now, like, what else can you do?
I mean, this is the same actually. And before people are like, "Oh, Mr. Young, you just hate on AEW." Remember, WWE had this very same problem during the pandemic. I mean, maybe the pandemic was to blame. Vince McMahon and his shitty booking and weird creative was to blame as that, right? But didn't WWE feel like that for a little while? But then finally, they, okay, Vince out, Triple H in, probably the best thing that happened to the WWE. All of a sudden, we have fresh faces, fresh feuds. Things feel exciting, right? And the problem with AEW was, like, we talked about this so many times already. They had a 3-year plan, and after the 3 years, they don't know what to do already. They have no plan, and you have this situation where the young guys don't want to listen to the veterans to take some advice to help them get to that next level because they think they know everything, and they just keep doing the same old indie bullshit. and that worked for them on the indies, but it's not going to work on them on the main stage, quote unquote, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, like other than MJF, really nobody else is there that is exciting to watch. Daniel Bryan, like, I mean, we love him as a character, a person, as a worker, but without the WWE machine, he probably would have been this guy in AEW, like Adam Cole, like give me an example of a guy
Hangman
who's good.
Page.
No, at least
no, it's not good.
name me somebody who is like a good worker, but like, you know, it's like he should be pushed but never get pushed in AEW.
Jay Little.
Yeah, sure. Like that's a good example. That's a great example, actually. Like a good hand, but never really made it to the top. He only did it because he was in the WWE, and that's fine if that is not his goal in life. I'm not saying that as a derogatory thing, right?
No. It's a great point because, like, for example, if you I'm sorry, we use another football reference, but if I made it to the Premier League, right, I will forever be a Premier League standard player. So in the future, if I go play Saudi Arabia or play in Australia or what, they were like, oh, this guy used to play for like Liverpool, you know.
Correct.
There will still be that, you know, instant recognizable mainstream appeal, right?
Yeah. Whether or not you are going to bring the business up to, like CM Punk, great example. He always wants to push the business forward. I think Daniel Bryan is just very happy the way he is, you know, and he says, okay, you want to do this garbage match? I work with you on garbage match, you know? Like he's just a cool, chill guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have a lot of those type of guys in your AEW. You need a CM Punk to push the business, your business forward.
So will he always just be a B+ player?
Oh, I mean, there was a lot of truth to that. You know, and they spun it into an entire storyline. So I mean, it is what it is.
So there's nothing wrong with like accepting that. Okay, maybe this is where my limit is. I just want to be at this level, and it makes him happy. Then sure, great, right? Yeah, but as a viewer, as a wrestling viewer, you want those compelling characters. I mean, we grew up on Stone Cold and The Rock, and like, you know.
Somebody brought this, I can't remember if I saw it in Discord or in the comment section somewhere, right? Just to jump back to the whole CM Punk thing. And once again, the sole onus here is on the owner, the head guy, Tony Khan, not putting his foot down, letting this whole locker room bullshit dictate stuff, right? But can you imagine what Tony Khan did? He fired CM Punk for in a lot of ways for many reasons, but it was to protect Jack Perry, correct? It was because Jack Perry started this shit. Can you imagine Vince McMahon firing Stone Cold Steve Austin because of Mark Merrow?
Yes, I know the exact comparison you're trying to make, because I feel like that's exactly what it is, right? You are protecting your mid-card star for the biggest star in the company. If Stone Cold walked out of the company at that time, 2002, and Vince McMahon was like, you know what, you're never coming back. I'm just going to exile you from... People will just go riot and throw up in arms, you know what I mean?
Stupid,
he made a mistake. Ask him to apologize, ask him to pay a fine, do whatever, but bring him back. Come on. You know, as much as people want to shit on CM Punk and all that, nobody denies and say that, oh, he's not a big star or what. He drives the needle. He might not be like... He comes back, 3 million people viewing like The Rock, right? He's not that level. But he's still the biggest star that AEW has. And I can argue with everyone on the chat or whoever on Discord who might disagree with me, but nobody is a bigger draw than CM Punk. Even MJF and Adam Cole was moving the needle in certain segments, yes. But people will tune in to watch what CM Punk does. It's just the effect, and we all have to accept it, right?
It is what it is. Okay, come. Let's move on to, you brought up the man, you invoked the name of the People's Champion, and I didn't watch it live, unfortunately. I would have loved to watch it live because I probably would have been jumping out of my up and down on my seat. Like, you heard that crowd. That crowd was ridiculous. Like, who would have thought that, first of all, you had Pat McAfee, and probably everyone thought that was the big surprise already, because, oh my God, it's Pat McAfee. People love him, right? And then he brings out the People's Champion, The Rock. I saw it on Instagram and I had goosebumps, bro. What about you?
Oh, bro, I saw it when I was on I was actually about to take my flight to Perth. So I was like just chilling, in the morning having breakfast. I was like, suddenly like my phone was like, so I had my notifications on like clearly. Holy shit! And it's not just on my Instagram, not just on Discord. It was on X, Twitter. it was everywhere. Like literally, I opened everything, and then it was like The Rock coming out, The Rock coming out, The Rock coming out, and I do not know, man. Like I just felt like a 10-year-old kid again.
Yeah.
Right.
The funny thing is though, when when they close up on his face in the ring, I was like, oh my god, I feel old because he looks old.
He doesn't. I want to say he looks old, but I think you know what he looks like.
What?
He looks like a silverback gorilla that has become more distinguished and mature.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
He got
No,
that-
but here's the thing: like we remember him at his prime when he was the jabroni beaten, pie eaten, blah 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 blah, right? So
Yeah.
to remember, like I have that Rock in my memory banks, and then to see him, like obviously we've seen him in movies, in Fast and Furious, blah blah blah, that kind of thing, right? So we know that he's grown up, but to see him in a wrestling ring in this context, I was like, wow, the last time I saw you in this context, you look way younger. I was like, oh my god, I feel so old. But he's still. That being said, he looks incredible for his age and whatever lah. But
yeah, he's 51, bro. I mean,
yeah, jeez. Let's talk about the reason he came back. Yes, it was sort of very coincidental. Like he and Pat McAfee were in town; they were doing his show, right?
Yep.
But also, this is coming off the heels of the TKO merger, UFC,
Yes.
WWE, and there were talks of, Vince McMahon is coming to Smackdown or Raw just to be backstage or whatever. And everyone was freaking out. So, he's going to screw up the creative again, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, relax. You know the reason that they're pulling out all the stops just right after the TKO announcement, right? It's
Of
the
course,
share
Adi.
prices lah. This is a business move.
It's a business move for sure. I think, and we're going to talk about this as well, about securing new TV rights.
Yes.
Which network wouldn't want the possibility of like, they can bring The Rock back anytime on a random Friday night to pop a rating,
and
let's go, right?
Oh boy, did they pop a rating? Was that 3 million? Yeah.
It was 3 million on that quarter itself. Like when people found out, like, they started probably like 2.3, that's like the usual average. It spiked almost 1 million, like just from word of mouth. This is like old school time in the 1990s where like, oh shit, The Rock is on now, everyone go turn on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing of beauty, right? And that's exactly it. Because they're trying to shop the rights to the show out there. They have a new, big ass company. They want to boost the stock price and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's why they brought back Cena, because Cena, they knew that, okay, we have him for this amount of time. This is going to happen. They planned it. But The Rock really was just the stars aligned. He was in town. Okay, come, please show up. Give us the huge, gigantic boost that we need.
I'm very, very happy that other than The Rock, coming and appearing and like, setting the whole social media, world on fire.
Yeah.
Do you see who he was opposite of?
Yes. Mr. A-Town Down, which okay, I think that gimmick needs to go away. I don't care about the fact. I don't give a crap about the fact that you are from Atlanta. Maybe it means something in the US, but to the rest of the world, it means nothing.
Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like he is kind of like mini Roman Reigns in the sense that WWE is gonna push him no matter what because they just believe in him, but he is not connecting with the audience, bro. Like but that's the thing, Richard. But we as fans know his potential.
Yes. What was different about his interaction with Rock versus his interaction with Cena? Because a lot of people argue that like his interaction with Cena didn't elevate him. But do you think this interaction with The Rock elevated him?
I disagree with the part about Cena not elevating. I feel what Cena did was lay out all his flaws to the audience so that the audience can like pick on it or like, he's not that good. It's kind of like to strip him back down. And I think that's where he can build back up. So because it's like how when when John Cena had that feud with Roman Reigns initially in 2017, right? And verbally just tore him down, saying that he can't even memorize his script. He doesn't know how to cut a promo.
It's called a promo, kid. You better learn how to do it. I'm like,
yeah, you know what I mean. And then I think it's almost to put in the seed of that thought in people's mind, like, he's really not that good.
So wait, is Cena the guy they bring in to put people in their place and light a fire under their ass and see whether they, rise up?
Same, he did it with The Miz. He did it with a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Like he just
meanwhile, the Rock is a straight up rub. You know exactly what you're gonna get with The Rock. Like you're gonna spar with him verbally a bit, then he's gonna lay the smackdown on you, drop the people's elbow.
Yeah, I mean they gave him a lot of concession. They let Austin Theory cut him off. They let him make fun of The Rock a bit. I think the fact that he's in that place, I think he's that 3 million viewers are looking at this guy and they're like, who the fuck is this guy? But they know The Rock.
Yep.
That immediately gives him some sort of like familiarity, right?
Yeah.
Eventually he'll be the guy. So it's a good spot for him to be in. I just want to talk about what The Rock said on Pat McAfee's show, if you recall.
Okay. You're talking about the potential of a Roman Reigns feud.
The initial plan, it was supposed to be Roman Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania 39, and it was shelved.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Like, would you have wanted to see it? Like, was Cody Rhodes still a great alternative, regardless?
I think Cody Rhodes was a great alternative. I think they did what they could given the circumstance, and they built up a storyline there. Are they still gunning for Rock versus Roman for the next WrestleMania though? That's the big question, right?
Okay, I found it interesting when he said this one line saying that, they wanted to do something that was not just going to be the end at WrestleMania, but it was just going to be the start, the beginning, that it was supposed to continue. And then The Rock said something like they just couldn't figure out what that story was, and that's why they decided to put their pencils down and, continue next year or perhaps in Philadelphia, right?
Bro, translation, they didn't pay him enough money. I mean,
that could be it. That could also mean maybe The Rock didn't want to lose to Roman Reigns.
Oh, I see.
Because he said like, we gotta start a story. So like, how can I lose? You know what I mean? It could be that as well.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, tough to do business with this mega star. At least John Cena coming, he will lose one. This is Rock. You gotta start whole story.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So probably The Rock in his mind is like, you know what? I got a writer's strike, which apparently ended recently. My movies has been bombing. I can't be seen weak lah. I can't be like I can't let Dominic Toretto and Vin Diesel, beat me. Roman Reigns cannot beat me. I don't care. He's undefeated. Maybe give me a rub some more. I give him a rub back later in the future. He's becoming Hulk Hogan, bro.
Oh no. Okay, you know what? It's still doable. As in, you don't have Roman Reigns have the title by WrestleMania. We've talked about this before. Roman Reigns versus The Rock is a marquee match without a title on the line. So somebody else has the title, Cody can go for that title. So at least Cody can still finish his story. It just won't be against Roman Reigns. That's all.
Do you see what I posted on the Discord channel, Mr.
No,
Young?
what did you post?
Okay, let me just address what Jason said. Guys, you need to check out Dom and Mami with Shotzi and Scarlett visiting an old haunted prison on WWE YouTube channel. Hilarious stuff. I posted it on our Discord, guys. Please watch it. I watched it. It was actually pretty good. It was like a really good paranormal episode. They really saw shit, bro.
Wait, are they in character or they're just doing like stuff outside of character?
No, they were trying to be in character, but when the spooky shit happened, Dom just like I freaked out. Rhea and Dom was like fucking terrified kids, and then Shotzi and Scarlett, I think they are really into ghost busting stuff. Okay, so they were like so excited by it. So
what the hell? Okay, anyway, it was
a good episode. Yeah, anyway, back to the point. What I posted was there's rumors, according to Western Australian news, that The Rock might be making an appearance at that Optus show.
Oh, I mean, it's the lead up to WrestleMania, right? So
yes. So what they alluded to in the article is that his first match back might not be WrestleMania. So they might pull the trigger on Roman Reigns and The Rock at birth.
Wow. Doesn't that seem a little bit premature though?
You know why I would say it would be premature?
Why?
If this match was for the title. If this match wasn't for the title, I don't think it would be premature. Because because they have 3 stadium shows leading up to WrestleMania. Royal Rumble is going to be in a huge stadium in Florida, right? Imagine they did that match, Roman versus
Cody.
Cody. So Cody finally wins the title, the big one at Royal Rumble, and then they can have that sideline feud. Because to be honest, I would say Roman Reigns and The Rock should be like not say a sideline feud, but it shouldn't be the thing that ends WrestleMania. I think it should be not for the title. I think Cody should go into WrestleMania with Gunther or somebody else. But Roman and the Bloodline can have a part 2 at WrestleMania. So for example, how I remember Miro and John Cena had a match at Fastlane right before their title match, and they kind of like swap victories. So maybe Roman Reigns and The Rock can be teased at Perth, but then during the match, the Bloodline screwed up with him, or like, I don't know, just do some crazy shit, and then they can have a proper rematch at WrestleMania.
By the way, maybe they put that rumor out there to sell tickets to Perth. How about that?
Bro, they don't need that lah.
The second you say, hey, Rock might show up at Elimination Chamber, it's like, okay, confirmed, guaranteed sellout already. I mean, it was going to be a sellout no matter what, but like if you dangle the carrot of The Rock showing up in Perth.
And the reason why I think there might be some legs in this rumor is there has been a precedent, bro. Remember, The Rock did defend his world title in Elimination Chamber before his final match against John Cena. Remember? He won the title from CM Punk, Royal Rumble 2013. He defended it one more time against CM Punk in Elimination Chamber, retained the title, and then went on to WrestleMania to fight John Cena.
But
so,
okay.
Say in the scenario that, The Rock is still going to be like committed to WWE up until WrestleMania, this could be the best way for him to have like a proper run in the lead up to WrestleMania and have this series of matches. Don't you think so?
So you are saying that he's going to win the title?
No, not win the title, but I would say he will be involved in 3 high-profile matches ending at WrestleMania.
Everyone's thinking about going to Perth now. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just because of that, right? Elimination Chamber. Wait, is there going to be a Saudi show in between or no?
No. The Saudi show is this coming November, I believe. They have one more Saudi show in the November. But
so that one is a big stadium show as well, right?
For sure. I mean, Saudi only have big stadium shows.
Yeah, exactly. They don't do no small shit. That's what's up. So, yeah.
Wait, one last thing about Saudi, right? Apparently, there's some rumors that WWE, because of the TKO group merger, right, they want to bring Cristiano Ronaldo to watch a wrestling show in Saudi Arabia.
I know, I saw that. Now, can you imagine they do it though, just to piss off AEW? Because you know how AEW tried to do this whole like, didn't they do the whole Sue thing at All In? But it was actually Sue, the mother.
Oh dear, that's so late.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, the thing is, let's just acknowledge there's levels to it. And like what Jason say, I think less people are watching AEW, so let's focus on the WWE news.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of news to talk about. Now, and it's kind of crazy, right? Like, we knew that with the merger there were going to be staff releases. They did mention it. But then the talent releases. So, a lot of these names I'm not surprised. Some of them I'm surprised. But shall we get into this?
Of course. Let's go.
Yeah. But one more thing, by the way. The writer's strike, yes, like we talked about, is on the verge of ending. They've sort of reached kind of a deal, but I don't think they've signed it yet. So the big question is, does it mean that if the writer's strike and actor's strike is over, right? Then The Rock's like, actually, I don't have time already. Bye-bye. Wow, shacks, yeah.
That would be damn funny. Okay, but let's be clear. The writer's strike has reached an agreement but hasn't been signed. The actor's strike is still ongoing.
Correct. So they will still don't strike until where lah, but at least they can now write stuff. But whatever.
Yeah. They can write their movie scripts, but they can't shoot lah, which is still the same thing. It's gonna be delayed for everyone,
I guess. Okay, so amidst all this big hoo-ha, new giant company, TKO, lots of money is coming in. Well, guess what? You need to cut costs some places, and we got talent releases. Do you want to talk about the talent releases or the new Smackdown deal first, though? Because there's 2 different things.
I mean, before we jump on both of them, I want to ask you a bit of a personal question.
Oh, okay, sure.
So, are you going to invest in this TKO stock or not?
No, it's okay, bro. I don't have the money.
No, because I was thinking to myself, right?
Wow, foreign look over here playing stock market all. TKO,
foreign is an investor, if you didn't know. But
foreign investor? Okay.
I'm a foreign investor. No, but here's the thing, right? Because I feel like what they say might be true, right? Because say, for example, if some network, whether it's Disney or Netflix or Amazon or whatever, right, really fork out their valuation of 10 billion, right, to get exclusive rights to both UFC and WWE, bro, you stockholder, you're gonna be fucking rich, bro. But you better buy it when it's still low, when it just started up. I'm just foreign, not giving stock advice.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, this company is on the way up. Everyone can see they're the industry leaders. There's no AEW gonna take over anytime soon. No Bellator will take over. You're literally buying an industry leader.
Can you imagine if AEW and Bellator come together? Or AEW and one championship?
Oh dear God, that would be
merger.
Yeah.
That would be damn funny. Okay, let's jump into the talent releases then. How about that?
Okay.
The first big name that I think got a lot of people shocked, and quite honestly, when I saw it, I was like, oh man. But also, what have they done with him recently? I'm not surprised in the least bit. You know who I'm talking about. One of my favorite guys, because I got to hang out with him, even though he probably just wanted to hit on Jackie. But the show off, Dolph Ziggler. Let's talk about that.
Bro, he's just living his gimmick, bro. Don't take it personally.
No, but like, I mean, like we hung out with him and he really does seem like a super nice guy. And the vibe I got from him was, yeah, he's doing this wrestling thing to pay the bills. He's a champion. He loves it. But you can tell, like, there is a thing about it where even how many years ago that was, right? He really wanted to transition to stand-up comedy. I could tell there was a vibe that it's like, okay, yeah, So I'm kind of not surprised, and I don't even think there's like bad feelings here. It's probably a case of, yeah, actually, I don't mind this. Maybe he can work part-time. I actually hope he doesn't go to AEW because he'll be a waste there. I would rather him just be a part-timer, once in a while show up at a Rumble, whatever, make a surprise return at the WWE, and pursue his acting/comedy career.
Quick question though. So you hang out with him, right? And he want to do stand-up comedy, right?
Yeah.
Is he funny or not?
You know what? I've never actually heard any of his stand-up comedy. Hey, excuse me, like it's like you hang out with Kumar, and he's not telling you 10,000 jokes all the time. Like it's in the Singapore comedian Kumar.
Yeah.
Like he's actually a very quiet guy. Okay, they just bring it out on stage. You don't be that guy who's like, oh, you are stand-up comedian. Tell me a joke. Like that is like such a cliche, bro.
Bro, I'm not trying to be that guy, but what I'm saying is like, I've literally never seen, like, you're right. Nobody has ever seen any footage of Dolph doing stand-up comedy. So is he funny or not? That's my question.
No, I mean, I do follow him on social media and I always see him posting about, like, he's doing comedy here. So, I mean, he's working the circuit, like, he's, like, working the indie circuit. So, if you want to think about it at wrestling terms, he's on the indie circuit of comedy. He's not main eventing yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, my girlfriend just, like...
Huh? Why?
She just rolled her eyes at me because I was laughing so hard.
Okay.
You know why? You know why? So because right, when we are talking, right, you can hear me, I can hear you, right?
Yeah.
But to her, right, I'm just laughing to myself.
Yeah. It's like, what's wrong with this fella? Why he laugh for no reason?
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway,
says there's another Namath on the AEW roster. Yeah, what's he doing?
the younger brother, right?
The younger brother. So
is it Ryan Nemeth?
I think it's Ryan Nemeth. Yeah. So I do not see any upside of Dolph showing up in AEW. Like, yeah, maybe he'll do it for a paycheck. That's about it. Like, I honestly do not see any upside considering how poorly AEW books.
If they make Dolph and Ryan like maybe do a team up, like a brother team up, but that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like,
look, Dolph has already been there. He's been to the top of the mountain. He's done a lot of the bullshit that WWE has gotten him to do. Do you think he wants to go AEW and do that same bullshit? And possibly risk injury, knowing how unsafe a lot of their jabronis are?
I mean, if he loves his brother, he wants to give him a rub. Maybe this is his way, lah. Okay. But you know where I personally would love to see Dolph Ziggler in?
Where?
I would actually love to see him. Nah, never mind. I don't want to see him anywhere wrestling outside of USA because
that's it. That's the exact same vibe I have. I would love for him to go and succeed in his comedy career and then make a return to the WWE sometime down the road. Like I said,
that would be great.
Yeah, having talked to the guy, it really does seem like he's looking to transition out of the wrestling business. Like how The Rock transitioned out, Cena became an actor. Like I can see the same with Dolph.
If Dolph can go on SNL or get a spot on some comedy show and like build up his name outside in Hollywood,
why not?
He will be a bigger deal coming back to WWE, right? You're right.
Exactly.
Wait, didn't he actually date a famous comedian before, like the Amy Schumer?
I think so. I remember something along those lines.
Yeah, he did. So he does have the connections. And Amy Schumer was in a movie with John Cena, so
she's been in several movies. Maybe he'll come back and hit Jackie up again. Jackie's married now. I'm sorry, Dolph. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
Things have changed.
He free, right? You ring him up, lah. Hey, come Singapore, lah. Grapple Max needs another wrestler to come in. You never know.
He's like, bro, who are you, bro? I don't know you. Anyway, okay, so that's Dolph Ziggler. Like I said, I'm not surprised because we all know how incredibly talented he is. But in the last few years, he's honestly been relegated to like jobber lah. Every time you see him, you know he's there to make somebody else look good.
I think his last best run was when he teamed up with Drew McIntyre, right? When he came back, he had that whole feud with the Shield. It should have been me. Maybe that was the most meme-worthy thing that he ever put out. But actually, he hasn't been relevant since then.
Question. So talking about Dolph, right? Remember he was teaming up with another guy who has disappeared for quite a long time. Did he get fired? Robert Roode.
Oh, Robert Roode.
What happened to him?
Yeah. Dirty Dogs.
What happened to him?
Just nothing. Nothing to do. I don't think he's been fired yet officially, but he should be. I think he should have been on this list, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's like, now, come to think of it, what has he done? Is he injured? What's going on? Poor Robert Roode.
Was Robert Roode released? Because I have a feeling that I might have seen his name. Because yeah. Let's pull out the full list, Mr. Young.
No. He wasn't released in this list here. Hang on. No, apparently he's still working for the WWE.
So not fired yet. Interesting.
He is now listed as Bobby Roode in WWE internal documents. Roode's return is not expected in 2023. Oh.
So he's injured lah.
Yeah, probably.
I see. Got it.
Okay, so he dodged the bullet here.
He's a producer. The producer. Oh, okay.
Still, yeah. So that's why I was like, hey, wait a minute, how come he's not on the list? He's still glorious and he's still in the WWE, yes. So, okay, this next name, I think, is a surprise. It's a surprise because of the wasted potential, I think. Mm-hmm. But I think you know who I'm talking about. And poor thing, not only did he get fired, his brothers got fired also, Yeah.
Brothers?
Yeah. Ezekiel, Elias.
Kodola.
You fire one, you fire the whole family, bro.
Oh dear God. So on the alumni page, is it just Elias or got Ezekiel as well?
No, it's just Elias lah. So technically who was released was Elias. So hey, no word. Maybe Ezekiel is still there, bro. Anyway.
Oh no.
The troubadour, the wandering performer. Like, I what is it about Elias? Like, okay, is it a case of he was very much a Vince guy? He got pushed to the moon during Vince's reign, and somehow Triple H didn't see the same, so Triple H didn't have anything for him to do. That's why he just kind of,
Mr. Young, you hit the nail right on the head when it comes to Elias, because if you think about it, when Elias was in NXT, he didn't do jack shit the first time. Useless, he was Elias Sampson, he was a drifter. Didn't do anything, like there no memorable feels, nothing at all. But when he got on the roster and he was doing all his like guitar acoustic performances and all that, for some reason he got supremely over to the point that I remember in some WrestleMania, he got interrupted by Undertaker, he got interrupted by John Cena,
Doctor of Thugonomics Cena, remember?
Yeah, he did his entire Elias shtick, like a concert as well, remember?
Dude, there was a WWE Network documentary on him. There was a Spotify album. Like, what? Like, so he rose so fast, and then he got injured. And then, the Ezekiel thing, and then after that, poof, he just disappeared. Tovakin says, Kevin Owens was right all along.
It was him all along, huh? No, but Elias really felt like it was a Vince project. Yeah. A Vince pet project. And I know someone else on that list went out straight ahead and said that it was because of Vince McMahon leaving that his career stalled. Rick Books.
Oh, right.
Rick Books had the entire thing where he was playing guitar for Nakamura.
Vince loves his big horse, muscular man with funny gimmicks like, he's a musician. He's this is like such a throwback to the 80s, right? But okay, here's the thing. Going back to Elias, he was a proven draw. So I don't understand, maybe we always praise, Papa Paul, Triple H, Daddy Triple H. But in this case, did Triple H miss the boat? Did he screw up just because it wasn't a Triple H creation? He's just like, we don't need him. Even though he was a draw?
I think back to one of the quotes that he said in the Ariel Helwani interview. He said, when it was Vince McMahon, he could pick the chocolate ice cream flavors, right? So now it's my turn to pick the ice cream flavors. So some of the things that he doesn't like was maybe some of the things that Vince really, really liked. So maybe it's nothing to do with he doesn't see the draw or the talent, but maybe he just wasn't the right fit for the system that he needs his wrestlers to do. Because I feel for him, right, he cares a lot about work rate, his wrestlers,
Yep.
and the ability for his wrestlers to kind of be intense and tell stories. And maybe Elias never got a chance to be in a very serious feud.
Yep.
That's
Well,
also
I mean,
one of the things against him, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing though. Like Elias wasn't horrible in the ring. He wasn't great, but he wasn't horrible. You know what I mean? Like everyone in that whole system, NXT system that went through the NXT system had some standard.
And he had a great look. He looked like Randy Savage, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
So like I find it very hard to understand why, maybe I don't know, maybe he rubbed people the wrong way or whatever lah. But yeah, I find it very hard to understand how, even if that's not the guy you picked, there's definitely value in Elias. I feel.
There's a spot for him for sure. And I felt like he could have just been repackaged in another, not even another gimmick, but maybe go to another show, have another alliance.
Go back to NXT and repackage.
Yeah, Baron Corbin is doing good things in NXT right now. He can help out the kids. Was such a shame. Never won a title before as well.
Yeah, he did hit a lot of highs. So I don't know. Maybe Ezekiel or Elijah or whatever might show up on AEW. Oh boy,
Samson, call him Samson.
Oh, Samson, sure. Okay, he's one guy I think might show up on AEW. There's a high chance, and then he'll just fade into mid-card obscurity within 2 weeks.
Well, the problem is, I think AEW is too bloated right now. I think people go to Impact better lah.
Just to make an impact, pun intended.
Yes,
okay, the next guy is like we kind of all saw this coming. He'd been asking for a release for a very long time, and then he put out he's been very vocal lah, and there's no doubt we all see the talent in there, but I don't think he's ingratiated himself to the management. Talking about Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Mustafa Ali. I just feel that he means well. In every single interview or piece of content that WWE puts out, you can tell he's a sincere guy.
Yeah.
He loves wrestling. He wants to do well for his fans, blah, blah, blah. And when he was in NXT, he got thrown to NXT, right? There was some hope that he might actually reinvent himself, because he was doing that gimmick, like a politician gimmick, and he was going to challenge Dirty Dom for his NXT American title. So, and he had a scheduled match for No Mercy, right?
Yes.
So I was like, okay. So I probably have two thoughts on this. Maybe when they saw the list of, cuts coming in, maybe Mustafa Ali was like, you know what, 2 years ago I wanted to quit. I put it out on social media, I was going to quit. WWE didn't let me, right? So now that, maybe he put his name on the list. He said you know what, put me in the list. I also want to leave. I've been wanting to leave. So you didn't let me leave. Now, fuck it lah. Just let me leave lah.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's already said so many times that he wanted to leave, and it just seems like a case of, okay, lor, now that we need to cut people, since you want to leave, you leave, lor. So I think maybe we don't need to look too hard into that one. It's like, it's quite obvious lah.
Yeah. But it's just sad because I feel like, he was a great representative. Even in this last year, remember when they went to Saudi Arabia, he did his Umrah, and I just felt like you are, bro, if you needed like a Saudi Arabia or like a Arab kind of representative in WWE, I know Sami Zayn is considered, but he just looks so pale.
Wow.
If he could have been a representative, and since they go to Saudi Arabia so much, make him an integral part of your shows, and he can have an easy pop over there. You know what I mean?
There's another one fella who was also a Saudi representative, but he has been let go as well. And we'll get to him in just a little bit. This handsome bugger, this one. But I think it boils down to the fact that he has very openly voiced displeasure about his company, and it only makes sense. Like, what I mean? If you're shitting on your company in public on social media, it's like, okay, you're not making our decision very hard for us.
Yeah, that's true. So, I wish we could shit to our public companies.
Yeah, right.
In Singapore, I don't think that we would even dare to do that.
Then you get release Future Endeavor. This next guy, he has been a good hand. A lot of people say that is a unlucky statement, a backhanded compliment, but he's always said too in interviews, which is why I respect him so much, right? Don't feel bad for me because I was there at the time. I've made the money that I wanted to make. Everyone's always saying like he should have been a champion, like a main champion. Talking about Shelton Benjamin.
Nice, yeah. Shelton, I felt like he left when just about he was going to get on his prime in WWE, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, okay, the thing with Shelton, we all know how physically gifted, incredible, even at his age now he is, right? But it's always about the full package. And in terms of on the stick, on the mic, he was never the best.
Yep, he was never.
No, so it was just tough lah. And like he said in interviews, don't feel bad for me. I've accomplished a lot of great things, which, respect.
Yeah, and I think people will know him best for his Ruthless Aggression era run. He had a match with Triple H. Who can forget him taking a super kick from Shawn Michaels?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, all his Money in the Bank ladder match moments. And I felt that first run in WWE was really what made him. Yeah. His second run, when he teamed up with the Hurt Business, that 1 year, 2 years, finally, I thought okay, Shelton's finally going to get the respect he deserves.
Do you think he's going to be a WWE lifer, as in now he's just going to take a break and do other stuff, not show up in AEW, Impact? Probably do indie stuff once in a while, show up, do signings, whatever.
He does have history in New Japan.
Okay.
He was in Suzuki Gun, if I'm not wrong. So he might, do a Japan tour here and there. He was a former ROH champion. So he does have history with some of the companies. But that's again, right? I feel, and I wouldn't want to see it, but I think Tony Khan would love to have Shelton Benjamin on his roster.
But yeah, like you, I don't want to see it because I fear for his health and safety. And
exactly.
Him possibly getting buried in the system. Tovakin says, how about his theme song, bro? I love his theme song. Hey, no, stop me. No. And then I don't
stop me. Don't stop.
Okay, anyway, let's move on to I see his name only, I laugh. Flop Dollar! Nada!
Wait. So
holla,
only
holla.
Flop Dollar,
Yes.
only Flop Dollar got released from him.
Yeah. It's them. Hey, like you. Obviously, they saw something in him because he was the host of the WWE Treasure Show, right? Like they put him there, So obviously they want to feature him somehow. And then upon going to the main roster, you realize that Swerve was the one that made the whole thing work. What's the group name? Oh my god, I forgot already.
Hit Row, bro.
Hit Row, yeah. Swerve was the one that sort of made the thing work, and then Top Dollar.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I thought T. Adonis had some charisma. I thought the B-Fab had charisma, but then like the two of them together, it just felt so forgettable.
Yeah, and then of course Flop Dollar with his shitty in-ring work.
Oh, yeah.
Not surprised here. Let's move on to another guy who I'm surprised they let go just because of his potential in the business. He looks great. He was saddled with shit gimmicks, doing the whole laughing hyena shtick with Baron Corbin. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh dear God, yeah.
You forgot his name. He's so unmemorable.
Yeah, he's so unmemorable.
But he's a horse.
Face.
He's a horse. Riddick Moss. Madcap Moss.
Madcap.
The few matches that he's had, right?
Didn't he like show himself or prove himself after he got rid of that gimmick? Like he actually could work.
Yeah, he had the intensity. He had the look. He just needed the right package. And unfortunately, the only package he's giving out is to his girlfriend Emma, who also has been future endeavored as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've met Emma in person, right? We got a chance to talk to her maybe 3 years back.
Yeah, when she was in Singapore, yeah.
Yeah, she did WrestleFest, right? And at that point in time, I kind of felt like Emma always felt to me like a girl that will never get the respect she deserves in WWE. Mm-hmm. But she will always, I think she will do well in the indies. Like she will be a great... I think she did really, really well as Tennille Dashwood in Impact. She was a Ring of Honor Women's Champion. And I feel like maybe she would probably go back to Impact. And I think that's probably her spot. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. We've always seen her as this very talented person. Unfortunately, her gimmicks never took off in the WWE. She was never given the chance to shine or to be highlighted. So it is what it is. Maybe her and Moss can go to Impact and do stuff,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like them as like a power couple in Impact could be like Mike Cardona and Chelsea Green vibes, right?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Wait.
Are we talking about our guy?
No, wait. Who am I?
Dear God.
am going to kick your ass, Natalia.
Oh no, my God. Okay, never mind.
Who was I?
Are you talking about Aaliyah?
Yes, Aaliyah has been future endeavored.
Don't make fun of my girl, man. She's cool, man.
She is not. Oh my God. Okay, in ring cannot make it. Promos cannot make it. I mean, she's a beautiful lady. Yeah, sure. But what? Okay, this falls under the I am absolutely not surprised whatsoever category.
Yeah. I think her best gimmick was like Aaliyah 5:30 or something. Remember she pinned Natalia in how many seconds or something?
Even that was lame AF. Like, oh my god, she pinned, and then like, was it not 420, 316? Was it Aaliyah 316? Like they're trying to rip off of Austin 316. I'm like, no lah, this is just DOA,
okay.
dead on arrival.
Okay, putting my thoughts of her looks aside, right? Like for me, she was a NXT life. Remember, she was in NXT for the longest time,
and
like,
she couldn't. She was in. Do you remember they had a reality show about NXT? They did one like special, and then
NXT above below ground or something.
Below ground or dead.
I forgot.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Where
Breaking ground.
Breaking ground, yeah. And she was there as that character who like cannot make it, cannot improve, she was in training for so goddamn long already and still cannot. And then when she finally made it into NXT, she cannot make it. Somehow she got promoted. They're like, okay, you know what? We've had her in NXT for too long. We need to promote no matter what. She goes to the main roster and still sucks.
She's the one with the Robert Stone brand. I think that was the part where she had some charisma. If she could have become a great valet or manager, if she could have cut the right promo skills, but promo rabak, wrestling rabak,
everything rabak, bro. It was Aaliyah 317. They were trying to, you see, like, okay, and that to me is the nail in the coffin. She really, on all fronts, cannot make it. You go and saddle her with a gimmick that is synonymous with another very popular wrestler. You're killing her off.
Yeah, it's tough lah. It's tough. Okay, there's a lot of beautiful girls around, and I don't think that is enough. I get you. That's not enough to keep yourself on the roster. She should have done more lah.
Okay, let's move on. Not much else. We kind of briefly touched on him. Nakamura, Rick Boogs, very much a Vince guy, big size. Unfortunately, I think he's like very poor thing because he got injured like at WrestleMania. Right, his big moment to shine. Remember, and then after that, he came back and it was just not working for him. Already, he was flat.
It was Naka Books versus the Usos. They were supposed to win the title at that point in time. So it's quite a shame what happened to him. And the point is, right, like what he said about Vince pushing him to the moon. I think that was really true. I think Vince really took a liking to him. Gave him a decent gimmick that actually he could play guitar really, really well. But my problem with him is that he felt like he would have done well in the older generation, not in this current WWE.
Yeah. But see, that being said, I feel the same way about him, about Riddick Moss, as well as Elias, right? Like, I feel like maybe Triple H has a very, like you said, like he's picking the flavors right now. Whereas, like, they could have absolutely fit into the WWE landscape, given, slight tweaks and stuff like that. I think it's a missed opportunity.
That's the thing, right? Triple H, I was surprised that he doesn't like people like him, them, because they are body guys. Triple H is a body guy, even though Triple H is not like crazy like Vince in terms of like, I need a guy to be like super jacked.
Yeah.
But he could appreciate like, okay, these guys are putting in effort. They look great for TV. Yeah. Why couldn't they be in a bigger spot, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not also forget that we don't know the internal relationships over there. So we don't know. Maybe some people are just more hungry and some people are not so hungry. So it could be that as well, right?
I know somebody who's really, really hungry. Feed me more.
Oh God, he's never coming back to the WWE. He's burned too many bridges already. Okay, the next name, he made some waves on NXT, but then he had the character, but he did not have the in-ring work. And then after that, he got on some promos and he also had very shit promos. He was just all character. Everyone was like, he's the next Goldust. No, he wasn't. Quincy Elliott.
You know what? I saw one or two videos of him / her. NXT was their level. And even though NXT level up was their level, probably.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, Quincy was not ready even for NXT. Like, the matches were crap.
Yeah, it was tough. So, no one missed her.
Him lah.
Oh, sorry. One of them.
Anyway, Quincy is no longer in the NXT system. Bryson Montana, I think, is another NXT. I have no idea who this person is, so we'll just move on. Dana Brooke.
Poor girl.
What was her peak? To be honest, what was her peak?
Maybe as the 24/7 champion, perhaps?
Oh my God. Was that really like, okay, didn't she break into the main roster when I stopped watching wrestling? So I like...
No, she joined in 2015 on the main
Oh.
roster with Charlotte. I remember she was like Charlotte's second person in
Is it
command or something like
like
that.
for whatever reason I don't I always remember her as sort of like lower mid card to jobber. That's all I remember her as.
Yeah, I mean that's what she is. She even talked about it in one of her interviews, saying that I don't want to be a jobber anymore, blah blah blah. But she
Right.
still lost her that match. So,
And then they brought her back down to NXT, I guess, to give some of the young ones some experience. But then, that's she hit a ceiling lah. Toverkin says about Quincy Elliott, budget Velveteen Dream. Wish.com version of Velveteen Dream. That's a very good comparison.
It's like when you got Velveteen Dream on Wish, right? That's
Yeah. Wish version. But anyway, Dana Brooke, not surprised here, Maybe because she is making main roster money and she's just doing NXT stuff, so there was no justification for her to stay.
Maybe she's
Makes
been there
sense.
too long as well without any development or growth, perhaps. Fun fact, she briefly dated Batista. You know that?
Is it?
Yeah, not years ago, like recently.
Batista was like, okay, anyway.
but they couldn't make it work because
pew, pew, pew.
Oh dear God. Yeah, because clearly their schedules and all that. But imagine she was with Batista when Batista was on the should have gotten the Nikki Bella treatment, bro.
Maybe. Let's move on then. I don't know if we should consider them a pair, but we did briefly mention this handsome fella. Two very handsome fellas, Mansoor and Masay. Is this a case of they got saddled with bullshit gimmicks and it cost them their career?
Do you think they're jealous of the fact
LA?
that Maxine and LA Knight have gotten out of that situation and they didn't?
I mean, look, Maxine is making it work with now Gable
Alpha
and
Academy.
Otis. Yeah, right?
Alpha Academy, yeah.
Unfortunately, that gimmick had such a low ceiling. It was just a comedy gimmick that, thank goodness LA Knight got out of there. Max Dupree. Thank goodness Maxine got out of there.
It's essentially Fashion Police 2.0, right? It's the
Yeah.
one Brizango got saddled with.
Yeah.
Did you see or hear snippets from their Twitch? They did a Twitch about this.
No, I saw Mansoor, he put out a video which was quite funny. I'm like, where was this guy the entire time? Like, he was super humorous and likable in his video that he put out on social media. Like, I've never seen this version of him on WWE TV.
Is it his Instagram talking about his release?
Yeah.
Was it from did he look like he was in a room with Masay, or was it him alone?
No, him alone. And I think, I can't remember what the context was, but I just remember him being like super funny. I'm like, see, I that's why I feel like a lot of times it's very poor thing. These guys and these two probably Vince McMahon projects as well, with Vince McMahon-esque gimmicks, right? Not appreciated by Papa H.
Yeah, Toverkin, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I was actually talking about the stream that they did. So apparently, right, they did their Twitch stream live on air as they read out their
Release.
They read out their release. So they're talking about the story of when I think apparently they got released like right after each other. So Mansoor actually was expecting himself to get released, but he was driving his kids to work and he was like in this dead zone and he didn't receive any message. So he was like, but right before he went into the dead zone, he saw that Masay told him, I got released. So he was like, wait, why Masay got released? I never get released.
Right.
So they were joking about it.
Yeah.
And they talk about some very interesting things that they actually pitched to creative, what they could have done. So one of it was Mansoor wanted to take over LA Knight's role and become the spokesperson. Yeah, so could have been the Max Dupree role instead. But then, they shot it down. Another thing was, they actually wanted Cody Rhodes to kick him in the face, and then he broke his face, and then became what Cody Rhodes did, the undashing version.
Yeah.
So it's actually turning them heel. I mean, I thought it would have been very interesting as well. Could have shown a bit more age in their characters. So
honestly, like what I said, I think that this was very much a Vince creation, and once Vince lost all control, Triple H was like, I have nothing for them.
Yeah.
Which sucks because there's so much potential here. Remember, Masay was supposed to be a commentator as well, by the way.
Yeah. He was
what's his name?
Gio Madden.
Dio Madden. Dio, right? Dio.
Madden.
So can you imagine if he never became the Reckoning guy or...
Oh yeah, he was in Reckoning. Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Or become Masay. Can you imagine he's the voice of Raw? In an alternate timeline, he never went back to become a wrestler. He just stayed as a commentator.
Yeah. What's that stupid ass faction? Mustafa Ali,
Reckoning?
Reckoning.
Is it
No,
the Reckoning?
those are their names, but their actual.
The
Shit, we
Revolution.
can't forget
Oh my god!
Retribution.
Retribution. Thank you. Oh,
That
they
just got
were.
deleted from our memories. That's why.
Yeah, they were a thing for all 3 weeks, a month almost. They were a thing. Then after that, they just kind of fell off, right? Okay, that's Mansoir and Marseille. I think we will see more of them in the future. I think they do still have a lot of upside.
Yeah,
this next guy, okay, look. Whenever you get saddled with the big guy who's a dancer and a jovial, funny guy, you know that you are in deep shit. Shanky.
Oh dear God, Veer and Shanky. So Veer still around, but Shanky gone.
Yeah, Shanky gone. But he dance his way out of the WWE.
Bro, poor man, great kali lah, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. Let's move on then. He's gone by several names. He cuts a very intimidating figure. He was the bouncer of Raw Underground. And he even spent some time with Apollo Crews as his commander. Dabaketo, a.k.a. Babatunde, a.k.a. Commander Aziz.
Dear God, bro. You literally spelled out his entire career in like less than 1 minute, bro.
Is he another tall, big, scary-looking guy who ultimately had no charisma?
If I had to make a choice to fire two giants, between two giants, I would choose Omas over this Dabaketo. Yeah,
Interesting that you say that.
I would have kept Omas, over Dabaketo.
Oh, really? I would have kept Dabaketo over Omas.
Oh, okay. You tell me your reason why.
I don't know. I just feel like he has more range, and he's like a bigger, thicker guy, right? Whereas Omas is just height. I mean, not to say that he's skinny, but when you put them next to each other, Dabaketo to me looks more intimidating because he's got the size. But I mean, it's not like
his
we're
hair.
talking about
His hair makes him look like Godzilla. I mean, that's the only thing memorable about his face.
But yeah, you're right. Like, there's nothing memorable about those guys. Like Shanky, Dabaketo, Omas. Even if they got released, wouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised that Omas stayed.
I would trade all three of them for one-time Paul Whites, yeah. Like, at least Big Show got some sort of personality. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think I miss those days where we had really menacing giants who was actually memorable. We took it for granted.
Speaking of giants, what has Braun Strowman been doing?
Braun has been out with an injury, if I'm not wrong. Remember, he came back only for Bray's funeral.
Correct.
On SmackDown.
Correct. Yeah,
he was actually out. He was out with a neck injury, so it's pretty serious.
No wonder. Okay, so you see, they actually have a monster who can wrestle. Like, he has had really good matches, so it makes sense that you sort of look at all the giants we have. We have Braun, and then we have Shanky, Dabaketo, Omas. I think we can get rid of two.
Yeah. Omas is almost on the list, like what we can see.
Oh, Omas almost? Yeah. I think
Almost.
Almost.
Alright.
I guess they really do see the shock value in him. Like, he's just so goddamn tall, right? Like, okay. We'll cut him out for Saudi show.
It's just for the spectacle of having a big guy, I suppose. Yeah.
Yulisa Leon, no idea who that is. Daniel MacArthur, Kevin Ventura Cortez, Alexis Gray, Brooklyn Barlow. I have no idea. Abu Abadi Fitzgerald, also don't know. So safe to say those are all NXT names, right?
NXT trainees, not even NXT wrestlers.
Yeah. One NXT wrestler, unfortunately, we did see him quite a bit on NXT 2.0, and then he kind of just faded away, got relegated to Level Up. Ikimanjiro.
Oh,
with all the jackets.
Not strong style, but style strong.
You know what? I freaking love that shit. It was so camp. It was funny, right? But maybe it didn't translate, And here's the funny thing. I think the NXT audience loved Ikimanjiro. So why did he just get released?
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe they think like, okay, you know what? Between Tozawa and Ikimanjiro, let's go for Tozawa.
Right.
That's how they're cutting it.
Yeah, which is very scary considering there's a certain Dante Chen who's in the system, right? And we all support Dante Chen. We want him to make it to the next level. We want him to, pun unintended, level up.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's have a very serious discussion about Dante Chen, right? Like, now it's 1:40 p.m. So I'm hoping he's still awake or he's sleeping. I don't know. Maybe he's quietly listening.
Okay.
But Dante Chen had his debut in NXT, right?
Yeah.
The main show.
Yeah.
But then, after he got a couple of injuries, and then he's kind of been relegated to level up, and he's like now like their gatekeeper almost.
Yeah. He's putting in the work, right? Putting in the hours, but I hope, exactly. He's not been relegated to gatekeeper role. I mean, I saw recently he was tag teaming with Boa.
Yep. So that's my hope. That's my hope that finally they found something or a gimmick that they can put together.
But bro, I find that is the scary stuff. To me, when they've run out of ideas, it's always the last resort. Put him with a guy of the same race, same nationality, and then make them a thing. Look, they tried with Veer, didn't work. Now they're back as Indushe, correct? And Indushe not really doing much also. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's that. All right, let's, I guess, fall back on the quote-unquote stereotypes. Let's put these two. We don't know what to do with him, so let's put him together. I mean, what he has going for him, he's still relatively new in that system, so there is still time for him to find something that will kick off. I don't know if that is tag teaming with Boa, because Boa had so many chances already and still didn't make it work. But Boa's problem was he couldn't speak English lah.
What was the Sayali faction that they were in?
That weird, I forgot the name already.
Tiang She or
Tian Sha. What happened to them? What happened to the there was one. Remember there was one.
The woman was supposed to be the main girl, but then she got fired or something. No, she became Wendy Chu.
Wendy Chu, the one who's sleeping one. Oh my god, there's another dead on arrival gimmick.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is like, when he first started, there was some people who was on his level. People like Duke Hudson were still on his level. But then Duke managed to join the academy. I forgot what. You watched the NXT more than me, so you know what I'm talking about.
Why can I not remember it?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But the point is, right, they've managed to latch on to certain gimmicks. Even The Rock's daughter has the gimmick with, Joe Gacy and all that. So what I'm trying to say is, like, in these 2 years, the fact that NXT can only just give him like random matches and put him like as a gatekeeper role, I'm a bit worried. I want him to find a storyline for himself, or at least be inserted into something lah.
Yeah, I have a character lah outside of the whole. Yes, we know he can do it in the ring. We've seen him before, right?
Yeah, and he's been putting on banger matches. I saw his matches with Axiom. I saw his matches with he even had a match recently with Sion Quinn. Like, all these matches really showcase his talent. So I think maybe he's trying to build up trust with management, that management can see that he can go in the ring.
Yeah.
Then give him these opportunities. But let's hope so lah.
Yeah, let us hope so. Okay, let's bring up one last name that was one of the, I think, last fellas to have been announced. And it's funny because of his prior employer. He was fired by his prior employer, and his prior employer is now in bed, one big corporation with the WWE. And it's so funny that the internet picked up on it and has been playing that clip of Dana White firing Matt Riddle. Bro. Okay.
Wait. So there's a video out there that actually Dana White fired him to his face, or what was that?
Like he was being interviewed about why did you fire Matt Riddle, and he just goes off. Dana White just goes off on how irresponsible he is. And you know how Dana White can be very animated, and all the F-bomb come out, right? It's like, you effing have 3 fights a year and you can't even pass a drug test. What kind of idiot are you? Because we all know that Matt Riddle loves the So, and if you can't even freaking pass a drug test when you know exactly when your fight is, like, how stupid are you? Blah blah blah. So Dana White just tore into Matt Riddle. So everyone is playing that clip since Matt Riddle kena
I see
future endeavored by the WWE.
Basically, Riddle is being blacklisted both on UFC now and WWE as well.
Yes, yeah. Okay, look, here's the thing with Matt, right? Like, he did find a thing with Randy. It was cool for a while. But apparently the rumors are there was no intention of bringing them back together, first of all. And I think it is the case of, he stepped on way too many toes. It's almost like the Rob Van Dam problem, where his habit basically is more important than his job. Does that make sense?
I wouldn't even say it's his weed, his issues has been his, like, sexual deviancy and like cheating on his wife and like having 2 girlfriends right now. Like, that stuff was the thing that I think screwed up his relationships in WWE as well.
It became a liability right? Like, oh, we have to deal with his BS again. We have to do, crowd control. I mean, not crowd control, damage control because of whatever allegations that come up against him. Yeah, it makes sense, right? It's like, it's not worth it. And he probably commands a decent enough salary as well. Like, he's not being paid as a, lower card guy, right? So they're like, okay, we can cut him. He's not that important.
And I think the breaking point was, I think, that issue in the airport when he apparently accused one of the officers that he kena molested or something like that. And I think when people found out, apparently they did internal investigation and it was found that no such thing happened. So he was just being high or whirl or his own way. I don't know what he was doing.
So, Irvin brings up a good point. Which of these releases will AEW take? I'm actually quite positive that Matt Riddle will go to AEW. I hope AEW does not take Ziggler. We talked about it. HS Lee, how are you, by the way? I talked about it earlier. In terms of the main event caliber stuff, I hope Dolph just focuses on his comedy career, acting career, maybe does some signings or whatever. He doesn't need to go and risk his health in AEW.
I feel Matt Riddle, if he went to the AEW, he would immediately be pushed as a top star.
Yep.
But I'm very scared because, like he's basically will bring CM Punk's levels of problems by the opposite reason. Because CM Punk is straight edge but got all this drama, right?
Yeah.
But he is like, I'm gonna be so chill, but I'm probably gonna go to TV high and drugged up all the time.
That might make for amazing television. What are you talking about? I might have to watch. Okay, no. All jokes aside, right? Like, yeah, you are right. Like, can you imagine he goes there and he brings a drug problem with him?
Oh, no. I mean, but okay. Like, legitimately, I think if he focuses himself and he like puts his shit together, he could be like Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre in Impact, like he reinvests himself as like a top star in AEW, challenges for the title. And Matt Riddle is his real name. So he doesn't even have to change his gimmick or per se, or like his, So I would I kind of low-key wouldn't mind seeing him in AEW, but only if he can really get serious and put on the banger matches we know he can.
Tovakin said he and TK can get high together. Maybe TK needs some of that to calm himself down. Like, TK a bit too high-strung already. He needs to chill.
His coffee must replaced by something else. That's why.
Adderall. Anyway, look, like it's funny that you pointed that out, right? Like in terms of like if he focuses, that's a big if. Because like even when he was in the UFC already, he's sort of like not really taking it seriously. And once again, if that is how he wants to live his life, that's fine. Not everybody needs to be like, the top guy, super hyper-focused, right? Like, RVD is a very good example of that. Like, he lived his life the way, like, even though he was only a champion like once or twice, maybe that wasn't his goal. Maybe he just wants to have cool matches, be the bro. So maybe that's what Matt Riddle wants. So we don't... we might not need to expect Matt Riddle to go over AEW and change everything. Maybe he could just be another cog in the wheel. In the machinery.
Serious question though. Do you think that Matt Riddle would have gotten fired if Randy was still around the roster?
It depends on what they were doing together. Maybe Randy would have calmed Matt Riddle down. You're right. Maybe he would have been a really good influence because, Randy didn't have the same issues, but he went through his like rebellious stage as well.
Yeah, I get this feeling that Randy. I mean, at first they all didn't like each other. Randy didn't like him because he was like weirdo and all that kind of shit. And he's like, oh, he's just high all the time. Okay, now I get him. And I think they developed some sort of brotherhood and kinship.
Sure.
And I feel like Randy and Matt really grew to love each other or care for each other a lot. And I think Randy, being now the mature version of himself, wouldn't have let Riddle go off the straight path, and Riddle having more respect for Randy more than probably a lot of people in the roster would be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to disappoint my bro. I want to be good for him. So yeah, it's such a shame that Randy had to get off the road and maybe not having that kind of like influence or guy who backing him up. Make him go crazy lah.
So what you're saying is Matt Riddle would just absolutely fall into a spiral if he went to the AEW locker room, because we all know there is no leadership in the AEW locker room. You sink or swim. All your worst tendencies will come out. Exhibit A, Jon Moxley. Exhibit B, Chris Jericho. Exhibit C, the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
so
unless he can somehow gain a friend somewhere over there that could keep him on the straight path lah.
A mentor, like who?
I don't know, bro. Like I know who.
the leader of the factory, QT Marshall, will take Matt Riddle under his wing and train him, bro. Set him on the straight and narrow.
You know what? Just don't go to AEW. Just go live your life, bro. Live your life, bro.
Live your life, huh?
Live your life.
Okay, so those are the releases that I have in front of me.
Yeah.
Did they say they were going to release more? Are they more expected?
I'm not too sure, but I feel like they kind of already have that first round out of the way. And you know what? To be fair, it's to be expected. You know, when you have a big merger, a lot of the people probably working in marketing and content also work in US. WWE also got their marketing and content team. The US also got their marketing and content team. They gotta, can't take everyone on board. So that one makes sense for certain roles. But I think for the wrestlers, wouldn't you want to have a bigger roster as opposed to have a smaller roster when you're expanded like that?
They are quite bloated as it is already, to be honest. Like right now their roster, they can have Becky Lynch show up on NXT. I mean, that tells you a lot, right? They are
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Jack Perry take Matt Riddle under his wing. Oh, allow it. Hey, that's
bro.
real glass. That's real glass. Cry me a river, B.
They are the same guys. No.
Oh, no, please don't compare Matt Riddle to Jack Perry.
I just hope AEW puts a hiring freeze because I honestly they don't really need more people. They need to fire some people actually, but not CM Punk. They need to fire some people, but not CM Punk.
But they fired their biggest draw. Anyway, very quickly, let's touch on the big merger. After the merger anyway, and the same day that these releases happen, right? They announce the USA Network will now be the home of Friday Night Smackdown from October next year onwards. So there's one more year in the Fox deal. They were shopping around. I guess, there you go. USA is like, come, we have Smackdown now.
Wait, I got a question because of course I don't know how television in the States work, right? But my understanding is Fox is a network television show and USA is a cable network show. So
correct.
Basically, Fox is like Channel 5, free to air, everyone can watch.
Yes.
While, USA is like ESPN or like
SCV lah, SCV, you technically need a cable thing. But they are paying the WWE $1.4 billion. $1.4 billion, bro. They're like, okay lah, let's
40% more lah.
Yeah,
40% more than the initial one. Yeah.
Slightly less people watch, whatever. 1.4 billion. We have, less people are watching terrestrial TV anyway,
But isn't that interesting because Fox didn't put up the money to renew, or Fox didn't try to bid for the rights. They just let it go. Okay, we had our 3 years or 4 years. Okay, I don't want them anymore. So what does it say? Like they couldn't pull in the numbers that Fox wanted?
Well, I mean, they freaking pulled in 3 million for the one Rock appearance.
Yeah. And of course, generally they had Roman Reigns on the show. The Bloodline, most of the good stuff was on Fox. But what I'm saying is why didn't Fox fight harder to keep this entity?
I mean, here's the thing: Fox has all their spots anyway. Maybe they didn't think that there was enough value, or it's 0.4 billion like 1.4 billion.
Yeah. Well, but apparently some of the investors weren't really happy with them because they thought they could have gotten more. So the day that was announced, actually the stock went down.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So when when TKO first went on the stock market, I think it was selling or buying for like about $104 USD. It was above $100. But when that news went out, they actually went under $100 USD.
Right.
So it's almost as if the investors were very bullish on the potential. Like they wanted 2 billion, but they couldn't get. So they were okay lah, but they'll just take it. That was the highest cap. Yeah.
So that means Fox can go and get the rights for AEW lah. No.
No.
Well, here's the other
thing. What if Fox get the thing for Impact, Raw and NXT?
Actually, that could happen because if I'm not mistaken, they are shopping around the rights for Raw now. Because that is coming up as well. So it's like, can you imagine if they just swap over instead?
Yeah, that would be quite funny. Because USA doesn't want to keep all three. They just wanted SmackDown. And they were willing to let go of Raw. And you know what? They realized, Roman Reigns always on SmackDown. They never go on Raw. And we get a shittier deal.
So we go and pay for the other one. NBC is also going to be giving them 4 primetime specials. This is going to be very interesting because this is kind of the same deal that happened with AEW, only AEW squandered their 4, 5, however many primetime special with Battle of the Belts, which nobody watched, right? It was
terrible.
As watched as a Rampage episode, for crying out loud. And WWE will not make that same mistake. They will make those must-watch shows. So that is actually quite exciting.
Yeah, because NBC was where they had a special Saturday night main event, right?
Yes.
And that was a big deal in the 80s. And I think when WWE came back, they stopped doing it after, I think, of course, of when USA Network and all that.
Yep.
So wait, just to be clear, is USA Network part of NBC?
Yes. A part of NBC Universal. Peacock ma?
I see. Okay. So they do have a pretty big conglomerate backing them up, lah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever it is, it doesn't really concern us international fans. I mean, WWE Network, that's all we care about. But for them, if they're making a lot of money, does that mean bigger production? Does that mean more ability to travel and do WrestleManias or big shows across the world?
Well,
Then
I
that's
mean,
benefit to us, right?
they have to make more money because they are, becoming a bigger entity. So they have more liabilities to the shareholders, blah, blah, blah. That's why they had to cull people, Ultimately, this becomes a big corporation issue, right? So they are doing everything right, just getting the celebrities in, getting the right celebrities in. WWE is on the up. Meanwhile, AEW is sort of just floundering. Going back to the whole, NXT's ratings are almost better, if not on par with Dynamite already.
Yeah. Do you think, right, going forward now that, UFC, WWE, same umbrella, will you see more UFC fighters crossing over to WWE, or will you see more WWE superstars going over to UFC?
I think it's the other way. I think it's UFC to WWE because the skills, you know what I mean? Okay, obviously I don't know, but I would have to assume that it's easier to go from a shoot fighter to a work fighter than the other way around.
Yeah, I guess so. You know what that means?
Brock Lesnar being the absolute outlier because he went the other way.
Brock can play golf and he'll probably win everything.
Exactly.
No one dare to fuck with him. No, could you see a Conor McGregor finally coming to WWE or Diaz brothers?
Sure, why not? Just I don't know. Yeah, cross promo, sure. I don't know how many. I don't think any WWE wrestlers will ever step into the octagon for sure, right? But I still maintain that they need to keep both sports separate enough. Once in a while, they can have some interaction, but you'd never want to compromise the UFC brand and image because once a shoot,
as a serious shoot,
that's exactly.
But I can see things like maybe Roman Reigns coming to watch a UFC event. At the main event and have his face there. Those kind of things.
Correct. Like he can sit there with the title, whatever. Like Cody Rhodes shows up at a UFC, sort of slight cross promos because there is a crossover audience for sure.
Yeah, that's good to know. I hope this means that we will probably see a lot of UFC/WWE not say mega events, but a weekend where UFC has a show on Saturday in the same city as WWE have a show on Sunday. Those kind of things.
Yeah, so it becomes a big destination weekend, right? You come into town, you watch both shows, and of course they'll be very happy because it's two very different shows. They can charge ticket twice, and they have the same arena. So it makes sense in terms of their marketing and their sort of video editing, their production, they can share. That's why they fight so many people, right? Because now they have the same quote-unquote pool of people, a much bigger pool. They can make it smaller. They're both working on both properties.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they talk about their flywheel, everything got flywheel, can use to support each other. I think how WWE might benefit UFC is probably they can do a better job with their packages in terms of creating the stories needed for people to watch the fights. But what I think UFC can help WWE is I feel that UFC can help bring a lot of legitimacy in terms of bringing back crossover fans to watch back WWE.
Yeah,
because one thing I realized, a lot of my UFC friends or people who like mixed martial arts were like, "Hey, WWE with UFC, so now WWE is got the UFC matches or what?" They're talking about WWE again,
Sell UFC and WWE at the same time to tourism boards. Yeah, can you imagine? If you are trying to sell your brand, right, and you are UFC or you're WWE,
that's smart.
Now you can freaking sell both at the same time. Wow. Singapore Tourism Board, please talk to Endeavour Group. Thank you very much.
So, if Blackpink can sell out the Singapore Stadium 60,000, no problem. Sure. Do you think UFC plus WWE destination weekend can sell out or not?
Oh, indoor or outdoor?
No, I think the big ass stadium. Wow. Do you think we can do it?
That one tough, bro. That one tough. What, on the same night or separate nights? It has to be separate, what?
Separate. separate nights, but also maybe WWE can make it such a way like, okay, you know what? First and only event in Southeast Asia, the only event in Southeast Asia. So like this kind of things would be great.
It would have to be a PLE. It would have to be
Yeah,
like
it would have to be a PLE. Yeah.
the Perth one. It would have to be like the Saudi ones where they go full on and not like what's that Superstar Spectacle where they don't even show. That one is a glorified house show, right?
Okay.
So it would have to be a big even like. I haven't been to the UFCs in Singapore recently, but were they sellouts even? That's indoor stadium leh. It's indoor leh, not even the outdoor stadium, not the national stadium.
They were doing relatively okay, but you have to understand it was 8 a.m. in the morning for most of the shows.
So well, in Japan they sold out. I went to the one in Japan, and bro, let me tell you, the Japanese are freaking on time. 8 o'clock means 8 o'clock. You know UFC shows, right? I've been to UFC shows in Vegas before, bro. You go to the undercard, bolang one. The undercut, nobody go on. In Japan, the very first undercut match, like I can't remember, it was 8 a.m. I freaking went at 8:39 because I Singapore don't care. Like,
I see.
I go in there, the stadium was packed. Everyone was there already. I'm like, what the frick? It was wow.
I think that shows the difference in the culture, but I feel like since Southeast Asia, Singapore is so attractive. UFC is doing like a big like numbered event, right? So it's like I think they're getting used to understand that Singapore is very easy to hold shows.
Yeah.
Please, WWE and UFC, please just do one show in Southeast. Just make it a Southeast Asia event. Everyone from the region will come down.
Okay. I think they can pull it off if it's the indoor stadium. I am a bit skeptical for the national stadium, but if they try it, I would definitely be there and I would be very hyped for it.
Yeah. We probably have to tell all of our friends, like all 20 of our friends.
Come for them. I don't know, like if they could. We'll have to see if they actually do like back to back UFC one night, WWE one night, right?
The
like
thing
if
is,
even in the cards.
The thing is, right, I'm so jealous of F1 because it's like there's no one who cares about F1 except when they come to Singapore. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think the strength of it is not really F1. Just I want to be there. It's an event. It's happening. It's like all in, right? So if they can just put a show, put concert, put artists around this event, and then just go watch the wrestling, go watch the fights lah. I think that'll be pretty dope.
So what? You want Fozzy to perform before the like what?
Blackpink lah, Blackpink. Let Blackpink perform.
A bit salah.
Asuka to the ring.
At least with the F1 you have the entire circuit. You can have the race going on while like Green Day is performing here. You can have some smaller act performing there. This one is one stadium, bro. What, you can have buskers on the outside No, right?
I don't know. But you know what? Like what I said, like I just think of if WWE could hold a F1 size event in Singapore and have that kind of crowd be so invested in it, that'd be great.
Well, we'll have to see, I guess. We need somebody to infiltrate the Singapore Tourism Board. Big wrestling fan, start working there and plant the seeds. That's what we need. So
our listeners, please, you all know what to do. Just apply on jobstreet.com.
Go LinkedIn, find a job at STB, and then slowly cycle everybody watch wrestling. Bring the WWE in.
Well, let's hope so. But you know what? At the end of the day, I feel like it's always good news to have like so much mainstream attention for wrestling. It only benefits everyone, including this podcast as well. People will talk about it.
Absolutely. Right? The WWE is in a very, very, very good spot right now. And the good news is they are not resting on their laurels. By and large, like there have been a few episodes of Smackdown that is a placeholder episode. Like, stuff didn't happen. Like this past week's Smackdown felt kind of meh. The whole John Cena and AJ Styles got beat up backstage, right? And then nobody came out to save. Apparently, LA Knight was supposed to be there, but he kena the COVID. So was it going to be at Backlash? Is Backlash? No, not Backlash. What's the next one?
Fastlane, I believe.
Is it Fastlane? It's supposed to be Cena and somebody versus Solo and Uso, right?
Yes, correct.
So who's it going to be? It's probably going to be LA Knight. It was supposed to have been LA Knight.
Well, I think they might have some rumors that if LA Knight doesn't come back in time, which I hope that he does, because I think it'll be a great run for LA Knight. What if it's Randy Orton?
Oh, what if it's
Randy and Cena?
What if it's The Rock?
You're always Well, I mean, is this the way to insert The Rock into the Bloodline storyline?
Doesn't it set up the Bloodline storyline perfectly well? The Rock shows up, lays the smack down on the Usos and Jimmy and Solo, and then like, okay, Roman has to come out and like do some shit now. Y'all,
my wish is that LA Knight is the guy, so that LA Knight can feud with Roman in Survivor Series. Like at the end of the year.
I think that's most likely the plan. I think LA Knight was probably gonna come out to do the save, but like we said, like he kena the COVID, so sian. I know, Elvin. Everybody, even when I'm doing my live streams or at work, right? They're like, "Oh, Vince McMahon is gonna screw up." Because he was supposedly backstage. I'm like, yo, relax. Just he is back only because of the merger. Believe it or not, right? Him as a corporate figure is a big deal. He needs to be there to show the shareholders, Vinnie Mac is in town, So he'll probably tweak a few things because, he's very hands-on, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he's not there because he wants to take control back. He's there because he's a figurehead. The big corporate merger just happened. His face needs to be there. That's what it is.
Yeah. I don't think he's getting involved in creative stuff. Like, I think he trusts Triple H, at least to a certain extent. So I think he's not getting, but I think he cares more about the bigger picture, making the money. So
money. You know what? We know that he has creative control if he hires back Riddick Moss, Rick Elias. Then we know already. Anyway, it is 2:00, 2:06. Everybody, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. We'll be back again next week to talk about more wrestling. Hopefully, no crazy things happen.
Yeah, back to regular weekly programming for the next couple of weeks at least, so you guys don't have to miss our faces too much. Yes. And there will always be some nonsense, some wrestling's gonna happen. I believe Wrestle Dream is this weekend. If not this weekend, then I think next weekend. But I'll probably watch it for you guys.
But guess who's not gonna watch it? I looked at the card a little bit. I was like, what is this garbage?
It's this weekend, right?
October 1st. Is it this weekend?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's this weekend.
Oh my god, shit. Well, I guess maybe there is something to watch. Okay, very quickly, let me just run down the card. Young Bucks and the Guns versus Lucha Brothers and Orange Cassidy and Hook. Go away. I mean...
Okay.
You know what match this is going to be. It's going to be a flip-flop fest, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's not talk about it. Next one.
Chris Statlander, Julia Hart. Okay. I've always liked Chris Statlander.
I've always thought well of Julia Hart, so it should be something. TBS Championship, okay.
Eddie Kingston versus Shibata. So they were basically going to punch each other and slap each other.
It should be for the New Japan Strong Championship.
Yes. It's for the ROH World Championship and Strong Openweight Championships.
Double titles on the line. Okay, that'll be interesting. I like Eddie Kingston, so.
Okay, so let me predict one thing. There's going to be a lot of... These are chops.
Chops are not anything else. You lower a bit, look wrong already. But anyway.
Okay, Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW. This is like the bright spot, by the way. Christian Cage finally officially winning the TNT title.
Yeah. Actually, that triple threat match was hilarious. So I like Christian Cage, whatever he's doing in AEW. That's my enjoyment right now.
Chris Jericho and the Golden Shower versus the Don Callis family. So, so Sammy Guevara joined the...
Jericho and Omega and Ibushi together?
Yes. So Jericho came out and made the save. Like, they were doing the whole, we're going to step Kenny... Hey, wait,
it's the other way around.
The other way around, yeah.
Chris and then Kenny came and make the save.
Yeah, and then we're friends again, the Winnipeggers, whatever. Versus Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay is back. Yeah, okay.
They're all under the Don Callis family umbrella. So, you got Kenny Omega. He could be a main event guy, but no, he's just mucking around with these clowns.
Low-key, the Don Callis family has pretty loaded stacked roster there. I mean, you got Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Ospreay. I mean, they're decent.
Yeah, and you have a hateable heel as their manager. So it works, right?
Yeah. Okay,
Ibushi has not shown anything. Unfortunately, he has his reputation. That's about it. Every single time he's done something with AEW, it's been the shits.
I see. Okay.
Yep. No, that's exactly it, Evan. His current AEW run is super underwhelming. Better Than You, Bay versus The Righteous? Who the fork?
Somebody tell us who The Righteous is in the chat while we move on. They
must be ROH guys, right? Because it's for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. Like, I'm sorry, you have arguably 2 of the most entertaining fellas there and you are having them fight The Righteous.
I'm probably gonna read out about the Righteous and see who the hell they are. But yeah.
Vincent and Dutch, does that help?
No, not at all.
They're probably people they want to push in ROH. FTR versus Aussie Open. Once again, this is for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. You know this is going to be a good match because of the names involved. But as far as Aussie Open are concerned, I'm like, I don't know anything about that. I still don't.
Yeah. I'll watch it for FTR. Aussie Open will probably need some time for me to get used to them. But yeah.
Yeah. Right to Censor bigger than the Righteous probably. Remember the intro music, the most irritating shit ever?
I don't miss that, but yeah, Right to Censor was still more memorable 20 years later. Yeah, for sure.
Hangnail Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. Okay, I mean this one could be interesting. You know,
did you watch the promo in the end?
I did watch the promo at the end. I mean, I think a lot of us see the potential in Swerve.
Yeah,
and we talked about how he was essentially the linchpin of his hit row. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. The main event is a, I guess you could call it a
dream match.
See, that's the thing. It's a dream match, but only for the diehards, right? Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. For me, I'm like, okay, like they're both really good technical workers. I know that, but beyond that, I'm like, what else?
My issue with this pay-per-view is that it's supposed to be a tribute to Antonio Inoki. Other than Tonika talking about him or putting him in a pre-packaged promo, there's nothing else that I would feel would make it a tribute, unless they really dress it up and really have some Japanese elements.
But
then
you know that for whatever reason, their production is not on the level of the WWE. Even though they can hire the right people, they can tell the right stories. They just don't. They just want to throw out a bunch of, like I said, indie mindset with $1 billion budget.
I guess there's something to watch this weekend.
Yeah. So. You know what it feels like? It feels like a Forbidden Door, doesn't it? It's just, it's just a side quest. Side quest pay-per-view.
The good news is
I'm not paying money to watch this. That's for damn sure.
Oh, bro, I haven't paid anything since All In, bro. But next week, I will review Wrestle Dream for you guys. But we will preview WWE Fastlane because Fastlane is actually next week Saturday.
Yes, right. That's right. So we'll have stuff to talk about, I suppose. But once again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. It's 2:12 already. Time to go back to work, unfortunately. And we'll see you guys next week. As always, if you haven't already dropped by our Discord is in the description, the link, right? We have a Patreon if you want to take your support for the podcast to the next level. Follow us on Instagram and all the social media pages. Everything is in the description lah.
Yeah, for sure. And please, if you want to keep the conversation going beyond the podcast, there's the Discord where everything's popping, every single day. So
that's absolutely true.
You can even get your news, wrestling news earlier than most things because every morning I read. It's my daily wrestling news. Thanks, guys, for contributing every single day.
There you go. Okay, we're gonna get out of here, everybody. As always, it's been a pleasure. It's Mr. Young,
and it's Foreign in the building. Have a great week.
Let me see you try.